Peter Sturmayer.
He's good in most things as well.
He's great. Love Peter Sturmayer. Weird looking dude.
It's still good though. In
Oh,
most
yeah.
things. Yep.
I just want to clear up though, like, how do you pronounce her name? Like, I'm really confused.
Yeah, Alexander.
That's how I've been pronouncing it for 17 years. Or since Hero Season 1.
Is
whenever
it
that came out.
Panettiere or something like that?
Nah, Pentier. See,
Pen-
there's also
Pentium processor. That's how you pronounce it, right? Right, Alexander? Right? Yep, perfect. See? We got it. We got it in the end.
Hayden Pomme de Terre.
Yep, Hayden Pomme de Terre. Apple of the ground. Yep. Oh dear. So good. Dear. That is potato, right? Apple of the ground. Pomme de terre. Yep. Good. There is still some French rattling around my brain for some reason. Excellent. That'll come in handy for moments
The most frustrating thing I've ever encountered, my very close friend Nikki has actually passable French, but for some reason when she's like reading French words in an English context, she just mangles them horrifically.
Right, okay.
So one of my favourite albums, when I've tattooed the cover of my arm, is also one of her favourite albums, and it's called Déjà Entendu.
Okay.
Déjà Entendu, she pronounces it.
Oh, amazing.
She knows that's wrong.
Is it like Déjà Superintendu Chalmers?
Superintendu, yeah. Nikki, if you ever listen to this, I know you won't. I know you think this is nerd shit. You're right, it is nerd shit.
Hey, is she on a guest star?
Like, dude, God, that would be catastrophic.
Good hello, everybody, I guess, as well. Yeah, good hello. No, nobody has to be asked that ever. If I'd rather not.
I'll make a point of asking her next time I see her.
Thank you.
That's it, folks, in the comments. Milo's co-star, Hayden. What was her last name? And how do you pronounce it? Oh dear.
Milo, what's his?
Emilio.
Yeah, how the fuck do you pronounce his name?
Vintage Emilio.
Yep, Jamiroquai.
He's the one that Laurie should have ended up with, let's be honest.
Oh, 100%.
Is this a Gossip Girls thing?
This is a Gilmore Girls
Gilmore Girls thing.
Right.
Okay. Hey, I don't watch those shows. I don't know anything about those shows.
Gilmore Girls, here's my pitch for Gilmore Girls. Imagine if Buffy didn't have monsters in it.
Sounds terrible.
It's not as good as Buffy.
Yeah.
But that's because Buffy's got monsters in
it. Yeah, like Buffy's dad.
But Gilmore's got Hayden.
What do you mean he's never in it?
Anyway, so here we are at this session, which is number 65, I believe. It is now.
I believe that.
It is now. I've typed it, so that must be true. Welcome to the Invasion Session 65. It's the 15th of September, 2021. Yes, that's right. Where did half of September go? Also, people should be waking up people if they haven't done so already, or soon at least. Nearly is over. Beyond that, Ryan the GM, and here are the players.
I just got your joke, sorry. That was bad. Hi, I'm Tom. Tonight I am Eltris, the Barbarian Elf, and still Milo, Vintage Emilio's #1 fan.
I do like the implication of that when you say tonight I'm being, it's as if like you play on other nights when you play other characters. I like it.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm Vanger, joining.
Good evening, my name is Alexander, and tonight I'll be playing Fleabite the Skaven, who's still pretty terrible at everything.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris, and I will be Keldrath, the Dragonborn monk.
And good evening, I am Colin. I will be playing Vanger, the Dwarven Clericy Druid.
Is the audio for the players working? I hope so.
It is, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Or it was 5 minutes ago when you started the stream.
Yeah, it should still be because nothing changed on my end, but I really didn't ask it before we all started talking. I was like, we're fine. But probably worth checking this far in, I guess. Yeah, so for anyone who is somewhat able to see obvious changes, Thoden is no longer continuing the game with us, so we are making some narrative changes just so that it makes some kind of sense narratively for the players remaining. So yeah, Thoden's going to go off on his mystical adventure to go fight the Storm Father and perhaps gather up his potential and then bring it back for Elorian so his people can move in. That sounds like a good thing to go off and do and be busy with, while our party continue up the mountain, which makes sense. Since then, they have traded a whole bunch of stuff to Abtag, awesome lady that she is. She's mixed them up some potions. For the sake of it being on the recording, Alexander, what did you get from Abtag?
I got 5 potions of cold resistance and 3 normal potions of healing.
Perfect. You lost an Electrum Cloth Talisman, Polished Stone Jar, and 1 gem worth 100 gold. The other 2 things equaling 25 gold each. So that is fine. And also the aforementioned 40 relationship points that you gained in her favour.
Abtag will remember this.
Yeah, exactly. Abtag relationship plus Abtag relationship plus. Yep. So yeah, we got that. Yeah, I'm kind of going to skip the what do you remember from last time because it's relatively redundant at this point.
Before we do that, does Fleabite still not have some warm clothing to get as well? We didn't.
Yeah, like we're skipping so that's all
Oops,
done
my
and dusted
bad.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be factored in as well because if we're doing a little
Cool.
time skip to leaving, that's a good point to bring up though because it wasn't actually
Yes.
discussed in any of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'll remember it.
Yes, that I just assumed he'd remember because I mentioned it last week, which was obviously my fault for partly something like that. But once I give times and that, it's really up to you guys to remember this shit. I'm like how am I supposed to know what you're doing? I'm only the GM. So yeah, we're gonna skip to a couple of days later to make sure that Fleabite can collect his things that were made for him. I mean, I hope you all appreciated his little snow outfit that I put up above. I'll repost it for us in our TI chat.
Chat, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did. That is a very cute rat. I like rats. I
Yeah.
generally think rats are pretty cool.
So there we are. Obviously now to answer your question fully, Keldrath, you will have had time to have full healed. Yes. So any hit dice, health, spell slots, etc. Will be restocked. Resources, however, no. Which does mean you have eaten something for the last 3 days.
I'm gonna mark off my assorted salted stag meat.
Perfect.
Rest in peace, assorted salted stag meat.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe like a ration or two. A ration?
Well, how many of the group rations were left? Right? Like, how much did Keldrath have left over for the...
It was 6 days worth of food, party food.
Okay, so realistically you just have to mark off, 3 of those to have fed the party, right? Realistically, if you want to do it that way instead of individual resources. It's up to you how you want to manage that, but that's, why it
That
was
makes
there.
sense.
Especially since it seemed like a faux pas for it to be given to at least, Abtag here. Yeah. Right, so beyond that, you're moving forward beyond this place, beyond this wonderful village that has a name. Eltris, did you ask anyone during those days what the village was called, or did you just thought, that's fine, I'm good?
Yeah, I think it did, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I remember I asked...
Roll Persuade!
What?
Roll Persuade.
Okie dokie.
It's not a difficult DC.
Yeah.
Wow, you failed it. It was a DC 10. Well, you don't learn the village names.
Again.
I think it's just because you don't speak giant, mainly. But yeah, I think that's that, and I don't think it was Abtag you asked apparently. But yeah, does anybody actually want to have spent any time asking what this place is called? Do you mind, or do you not care? Like, I don't mind if you don't care.
You know what? I think Vanguard would have asked at some point.
It's also not like it's like a mystery or anything. It is just because it was called Does Rock, and I'll write that down.
Does Rock the Casbah?
Yes. There you go. Actually, funnily enough, its full name, which apparently I wrote next to it, which was under the piece of paper, which I'll now add. Which is hilarious after what you said.
Nice.
Yep.
Got the Casner. Yeah.
Yep. Kasnar does rock. Yeah. That was under my session 61 session notes, apparently. I wrote this. Well done, past Ryan. It would just feel weird if they had like village signs, though, right? Because that would imply people would come here. So it doesn't make sense to me. Right. Beyond that, the goals that are in place, I feel like we leave them in place until we kind of move on. Like we'll deal with them as and when, quite frankly. What did you do with the stag head? We never discussed that. Are you gonna carry it with you guys? Or are you gonna leave it? What's the plan? Yeah.
So it wasn't going with Odin.
No, because I'm asking what you're doing with it. It can go with him if you don't want it and don't want to leave it here. That is just sending it off to the boat of abandoned bloodlines. So that's like a weird reference to like my ex and me that used to discuss things that were just like cut out of, like, for example, Game of Thrones, where you'd read so far in a book and then realise half of the plots have been abandoned, so they all get put on the boat of abandoned plotlines. But as for this stag head, what are you doing with it? Because that would affect another goal.
I say keep it the time being, because I don't think anything about why we were keeping it has changed, right? I didn't intend to stab the Stormfather with it or anything, so...
I mean, yeah. So who has it?
I feel like I'm maybe the next biggest after Thodin, so I feel like it would
You're a
maybe
big
make
boy.
sense for me to take it. And
You have a good strength score, do you not?
yeah.
Yep, excellent. Yep.
I don't know what that is because I'm on the goals page. 2 seconds to flick over to that page. Strength score is 17.
Yeah. Yep.
That's something I need to get boosted.
You don't really need
means
it though, as as a monk. It's not really something you're gonna come up against. Luckily,
Thanks.
that's why you have an Eltress.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So, what are you doing with the stag's head? What's the plan?
I think I'll just carry it.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as
I
you know
like
what's-
put it on my back like a baby. Like, see when you used to get those little carriers that you put a baby in?
Oh, you
I
can-
put it on my back.
You can definitely have it strapped like along with like your pack and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. You're probably like, not quite at tipping point yet because you are, 17 strength. Pretty damn good. It's probably a really good carrying capacity. Because I think is it, Alexander? Do you remember offhand? Is it like times 15 or something dumb like that?
I want to say 14, so yes, it's something dumb like that.
Yeah, I think it's like your score times 15. I think you can carry in pounds in this, which is, imagine 6E was like metric systemed. Wow, what a fucking dream that would be. So yeah, whatever that is.
See if it's strapped on beside my pack and that and stuff. Is it like within touching distance of my hand? Like, am I able to pat his head as we walk?
Yeah, sure. That's creepy. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my pet.
Oh, so that's a pretty good image. Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of when you're saying that.
It's like the antlers sticking out for his back.
Yeah. Weirdly, I imagine the antlers are like wider span than that in my head. But yeah, like definitely that vibed. Yep. So, yous have made arrangements to leave. Obviously, Kaznar does rock, and you obviously are allowed out the other side, like that. I guess we'll call it, is it like the north end of the village or the upper end of the village? Upper village, yeah. You leave that way, and Thodin's obviously making the path open for you all to leave. He goes his way towards his quest line. You go your way. And who's taking the lead now? Probably play Vanker.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
a decent bit of survival.
Something else to like maybe keep in mind as well is that Eltrys is no longer covered in wood,
Oh,
but
Okay.
their skin is all green now.
Oh, nice! Congratulations on your green skin.
thank you.
Yeah. Make sure that's reflected on your character sheet if you can for me.
Turn your green to 7.
So it'll
Is
be,
there anything
it-
edited
it's in bio.
in bio?
See where your skin says pale?
Oh, skin. Right. It's not letting me edit that. Oh wait, okay, got it. Never mind. Green.
And then you can probably change the once blue now emerald to just emerald, right?
It's
Oh,
green as shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forgot that Fleabite's skin was scabby / mange.
I still want a bath.
Yep. Yep. Probably. Yep. Oh dear.
We've obviously had a bath in the last 3 days, haven't we? We had the
Sure.
opportunity.
Sure.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
a fantasy setting.
Like-
I don't know how much people bathe.
Yeah, but like I feel like if it's something that he wanted to go out his way to like find, I doubt it
Yeah.
would be a difficult thing to find. There is probably like a hot spring somewhere that they would use. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Oils are nature soap.
Yeah, exactly. It's the most Vanker thing you've said today.
I had flea bite on my shoulders. What would you do?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Fleabite's
I mean,
nature's
to be fair,
excuse to exfoliate.
Iker's been like wandering the world with him for some time now, and has never really
Mhm.
expressed any concern about his hygiene, other than occasionally looking askance at him when he does particularly gross things, which I think probably says a lot about Vanger's own hygiene levels.
Mhm. Like it is funny to think
that's-
when see Evershade's visual of like you two being rather wilder looking than, for example, Adair and a Cass. That was
We
quite
did stand
funny.
out a little.
Even though they were blue and red skinned, visually, you
Yeah.
had, the 3.5 foot Ratman and the dwarf being the ones that are like, just look a bit unkempt, versus that. Even when
Small.
was it Walter and Samuel turned up, and it's like they were probably relatively well, like groomed.
Yeah, they were the most normal looking guys we had.
Yeah. It's like, wait, we found 2 humans? What? Yeah, that was weird, to be fair. So yeah, So you're leading. I need you to make me a survival roll.
I'm going to. Would anyone like to assist me?
Yeah, Zen don't help.
I was going to say I would, but I've just been kicked out of the game for some reason, and I'm just loading back in, and I'm really
Wow.
sorry for this. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, but do you want to
I'm
assist or not?
ready for this.
No, I was going to say I would assist, right, but I also feel like it wouldn't make sense for me to do it because I feel like I'm always kind of taking the rear of the
Mhm.
team. You know what I mean? And I don't know if
Yeah, if you want to keep that up, that's fine. That means
Right?
if no one else is willing to do it, then I'll do it. You know, like I don't mind going up
Wow.
front with
Wow.
you.
I'll help out. I also would like to use my tattoo and release my hawk
okay. Yeah.
up into the air and
Yeah.
for any
That
skirting
definitely seems
distance
like
that
it'd
gives.
be.
Well, what I can say at least
Yep.
for that is I can make the DC much lower, if you're using the hawk, and because you're helping, that can have advantage too, right? That makes sense to me, right?
When I go to roll survival, right? Yeah, it would be with advantage. Yeah.
Yes, because he's helping. Yep.
Yeah, because they help.
And the
that's it.
DC is
I-
going
I
lower
always-
because he's using his hawk.
It's still not a great roll, but it's a roll.
Yeah, right.
And
But
that really is all you can ask for.
yeah, it isn't great, but it does mean that you can at least kind of navigate roughly which way you should be going. Like maybe there's a part where you start navigating and you realize you're kind of like you've just looped onto the path that clearly
Yeah.
Thodin has maybe been taken, and you go, no, we definitely don't want to be here.
Well, it's because like obviously Vanger has no particular knowledge of this mountain. He's doing it. He's navigating on general principles rather than specific knowledge of this area.
Yeah, and obviously you've got like Keldrath's like knowledge of the lower mountain and what the the hawk familiar can like visualize as well. So it definitely helps nudge you in the right direction. So yeah, you start traveling. Can I get a, and let's say, Eltris, you can roll this for me. Can you roll me a d8, please? Yeah. It's a sarcastic clout? No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Oh dear. Right, so you start traveling. 3 days into traveling, you are mid camp, right? So again, for 3 days in, and nobody wants to do anything during that 3 days. I need you to mark off your rations as per usual, right? So let me know how you are dealing with that. Because I think you still have. Again, no, you still have group rations, so it's up to you how you want to manage
Still
that.
have.
I think there was 6
Yeah,
days
so
worth of, yeah. So you've literally got exactly what's left, I think.
Yeah.
Right, so if you mark
We want
those
to
off.
consume that would make sense to me if that's acceptable to you.
Certainly is.
Yep, perfect. Also, because obviously it's a rest, if you want to say that you've used your, you can give everybody those trinkety cookie things that I always call cookies, but they're not actually cookies.
Sorry, those what?
As in Keldrath's abilities.
The healing potions. Yeah, the healing.
Oh, I just noticed that you referred to them as trinkets.
Yes, trinkets. Yes, and apologies to all those at home. Yeah, unless you're used to WoW. So, if you want to do that as well, feel free to say that that could have been part of what you were doing at your, camp for the day. This is you about to set off on this particular day. Again, as I said, 3 days in, so it's like day 4, I guess, in the morning. And who was on last watch? Normally it's Eltris, right?
Yeah.
No, normally it's been me because I've been.
Oh, it has. Sorry, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Normally it
Yeah.
has been you.
That makes sense.
Yep. Perfect. Sorry. I don't know why did I think it was Eltris? Maybe that's who it was before you turned up. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
It's just because when you think of last, you think of Eltrist.
To be fair,
Yeah.
it is because that was just a conversation we had moments ago. GM.
I mean,
brain.
yeah, right?
The last conversation
what?
we had about his position was last. Right.
Mm.
Anyway, so the early morning lights coming in, and obviously you've started to prepare your cookies for the day, and there must be a better way of saying that than me just saying cookies all the time, but I'll maybe use yeah. And you notice sitting across from you, there's someone else now at the campfire. It clearly wasn't there while everybody else is asleep still. Eltris is long since Eltris, are you sleeping or are you trancing?
Probably trancing. That
Okay.
yeah. Ever since I found out I could do that, that's my new thing.
Okay.
You're an elf.
I was going to say,
Of course you can do that.
well, yeah, ever since you found out, since birth.
Weeks ago.
Yeah. But elves can choose to sleep. That's the thing, though. They just don't need to. It's a bit weird culturally if they do, but it's still something they can do. But yeah, so sitting across from you is a woman that looks vaguely and relatively familiar. May or may not look pretty identical to Cynthia.
Yeah.
No.
Cynthia.
It may in fact be Cynthia. It allegedly is at the moment. And you see, when you're cooking, you just notice there is a new presence there. You look up, and she just looks back at you. She smiles and she goes, "Whatever it is, it smells good."
Would you like a cookie?
She smiles and she says, "Yes, if you're offering." She smiles.
Once I'll continue preparing them, and once it's ready, I'll pass one over. It's
And,
nice to meet you again, my lady.
She kind of does lifts the bits of her her dress up a little and kind of courtesies where she's sitting. Just kind of dips into the bow a bit more. She says, "How kind of you. Seems like your time with the stone giants was smooth."
It went well. We were able to negotiate our way out. You may see one of our party has left. He has decided to achieve his own goals.
Kind of nods.
The rest of us chose to continue up the mountain on the original quest. Do you wish me to wake up the other members of the party?
Oh no, let them sleep. They'll need their energy.
You know what's ahead of us then.
She just smiles and she says, I'd like to. Like a weirdly pleasant but clearly, knows more than she's letting on look on her face. She says to you, it didn't quite go how I was expecting it to go. Your time with the giants. That's quite interesting to me. I was expecting it to be a lot more bloody.
It may have. The previous member of the party chose not to claim the stag as being his victim, shall we say?
She rolls her
allowed
eyes
us
at
to-
that when you say that, right? And then she says, yes. Seems to have worked out, though.
It seems to have, but we were asked to complete another mission for him to destroy another guardian by
Alorian.
I'm still confused about his position within the giant familiars. He comes across as their guardian, but still
You hear her
insists.
say under her breath, right? You hear her say, oh, I bet he does.
No, I'm even more confused now.
Mm-hmm. She kind of looks back up at you and she says, are you indebted to them in any way?
No, I don't believe the party at the moment. It is maybe Eltris owes them for. Elorian may feel Eltris has insisted he owes him a gift for removing a tree.
And she'll say,
and
I believe
the tree.
Alorian believes he is owed quite a lot.
Then that is something we'll have to face up to in the future, especially as Eltris became that tree for the 3 or 4 days we were there, and has now, I suppose you'll see when he wakes up, taking on.
She smirks at that and she says, it is a rather nice shade, isn't it? The green.
As a red dragonborn, I would say no, not really. It looks ill.
She laughs. And she says, yes, red's more my colour too.
Sacrilege.
And then she says, I'm pleased you're still carrying the Guardian's remains. I didn't lie when I said they will be useful to you. However, I definitely seem to have mistimed their use. And she kind of does a look back the way, as if the way you came, from 3 days ago. And I am sorry that I couldn't have been more useful or less cryptic. And she kind of giggles a little at that regarding the stone giants, but I am not quite welcome there. You see.
The mountain seems to be split, something that I wasn't aware of in the monastery, and the rest of the party seem very naive to the stag, the Green Witch, Elorian, the Storm Father.
You can see she's mouthing every time you're listing them. She mouths the entire list as well, which doesn't interrupt, but you can see she's mouthing it exactly.
Is there more we should be aware of?
And she looks at you and smiles and goes, definitely.
My lady, the first interaction I had with you was the destruction of the Guardian and the Green Witch.
She nods.
This is a mystery to me. My relationship from the monastery was never.
Yeah, so it was somewhat
I'm young,
symbiotic as
right?
far as you were taught.
Yes.
They were much older than the order that took over that monastery, shall we say. And their purposes and roots ran deeper than even I can claim. She just kind of like nods at that, and then she says, however, they would not have been your ally. Take comfort in that. I seek no ill will upon you and your colleagues, or your companions, should say. You and your companions. I am, in fact, rooting for you. She does like a little, almost fist pump, as if, I believe in you. I have my own agenda. I know you. I can see your eyes searching me for it. But as you can imagine, I'm likely to keep my cards close to my chest, and you are entitled to do the same. I need not your trust. Just know that I am invested in you reaching the top.
I will take you at your word, my lady, but it still leaves, again, I only from my own lack of interaction with yourself. I know we're looking for Barris. I know we are looking for the dragging egg. Your intentions towards the dragon end, could you share that? Are you willing to share that?
I don't believe it's something that should be removed from this world. Do you?
No. It was one of the conversations within the home of the giants in the Lorien. My own thoughts are that the dragon egg should be protected.
She
Whether
smiles, and it maybe looks like the most genuine smile she's given you, like during the whole conversation.
again, I'm taking her at a word here, and
You're welcome, by the way, at
finish
any
this.
point during this. You can roll insight if you want to try and gauge things about her as well. Like, I don't mind if you want to do that. Is that kind of what insight's for?
What about culture?
I know, right? So it's up to you if you want to like roll that as well.
Yeah, I'll roll that just now then.
Okay. What is it you'd like to try and gauge from her?
Whether she's being 100% honest.
The answer to that's no.
No.
She is being honest about most of what she's telling you, but you can clearly tell she is navigating very cleverly around what she's not willing to even acknowledge conversationally. Like her big spiel there about saying, oh, you don't need to trust me for my agenda to work, but just know I'm rooting for you to get to the top. What does that mean? Right? She's not lying about any of that. She definitely wants you guys to get to the top. It doesn't mean it's necessarily say that.
But for what purpose?
Yeah.
Are we just opening a pathway for her?
Yeah, right? So that's something you can maybe that's maybe the only level of like suspicion you can read into at that point though, right? Everything else she said, she has been like pretty upfront. She doesn't like seem to mean any like malice to you guys that you can tell, despite what she seems to be capable of malice wise. Yeah, so you're kind of getting this vibe where she's trying to like almost expose herself to be read as like trustworthy, but that in itself isn't manipulation. That's just her saying, look, I get that you could easily be suspicious, but I kind of need you to keep going. Is the vibe you're picking up, right? And she then
I have
yeah.
one other question for you. You said you do not want to see the dragon egg removed from this world. Do you wish to see the dragon return?
She gave you like a look, and like she smiles, and like her teeth are visible with all the different jewels that they're made of, and she says, "You won't like the answer. Yes and no. I would like it to return after a fashion. I do not necessarily believe that my child was correct in the actions he took. I think he overstepped quite significantly by removing a wonder from this world.
My ancestry, I believe we would not want to see the destruction a dragon can. This world knows that a dragon can create, but I would be in agreement that to remove it from this planet, this world is wrong.
She kind of nods to that and smiles, and she says, "Dragons are not mindless beasts. They only destroy what threatens them. I would be remiss if you thought otherwise."
No different from any other creature,
She nods.
any other.
And I guess your cooking's done, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
You hand her a cookie. She just immediately bites into it. She goes, these are good. And then just takes another bite and says, "So, good luck." Just does that thing where she looks up the mountain, looks back at you, kind of salutes with the cookie, takes a bite of it, just wanders off into the surrounding, I guess, forest area, I guess, that's just north of this place. I guess unspecified terrain, maybe is a better term. Yeah, mountainside. And she is long gone before Andy comes to. And everybody else can wake up now.
Feeling like P. Diddy.
Mm.
Yeah.
As they wake up, I throw each of them a cookie.
Oh, thank you.
So that would leave us with a cookie each for each of the party, plus it would leave us with 2 spare.
Excellent. That was a nice touch, giving her one, though. I think that made sense. It's good.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll relate the story that we had a visitor through the night. Your lady friend Sylvia visited us. She seems somewhat surprised that we've made it through the home of the giants quite so easily and unblemished. She seemed to suggest that she thinks Elorian, the business with Elorian and Eltris is far from over. He will look to have his gift, was what I took from our conversation.
We'll worry about that on the way back down, I suppose.
She seems to encourage our onward journey. She, again, you guys have spoke to her more than I have. This is only my second meeting with her. But she seems determined to, in one way or another, wants to see the dragon egg protected, but for her own ends, which she didn't discuss.
Well, that much has been clear. Well, seems to be checking in on her dress. Seems to be happy. Assume that the reason she was surprised at us getting through so easily is that we didn't decide to take the claim of the hill. Perhaps she anticipated we wouldn't be able to converse with them as easily as we could, but between how have I already forgotten his name?
Alorian?
Thoden and
Thoden. Right, okay.
Or
he's
Lorien.
gone, just deleted from my memory completely.
It's just like object permanence, right? Just gone.
Yeah. Drop my phone. What is a phone?
Yeah.
Don't know. Yeah. So what was I saying? So yeah, don't think she perhaps accounted for between Thoden's knowledge of their language and my own familiarity with the primordial tongue that we would be able to strike up a rapport, and perhaps she expected we would have to show some great show of strength to impress them. Who knows?
Possibly, but she did say that we still have need of the stag.
It's interesting. Well, good thing we didn't leave it behind.
Yeah, you just look like dicks if you had done that after that conversation. Well, 3 days back, down we go. Knocking on the stone wall. Hello.
Eltris, a message for you.
Yes.
She thinks you look pretty in green.
I think she looks pretty with her jeweled teeth.
As opposed to Fleabag, I think she looks pretty without them. Oh dear. Ridiculous. Okay. What's the plan? Or is there any more to discuss on that particular topic?
That's about it, I think.
Yeah.
She did also hint that there are further dangers ahead. I
Wow,
brought up the
be
subject
disappointed.
of yeah, I agree. I did bring up the subject of the Guardians, the Stag, the Green Witch, Elorian, the Storm Father, and it seems the yes, Eltris, of course, Eltris now, and it seems that there are other guardians upon the mountain. Whether we will have to face them, she never said. But it's not. There's just a single guardian, and she was not, but hinted that none of the guardians will necessarily be friends to us.
Well,
A warning.
it would be nice if you could be more specific.
Another strong person who speaks in riddles.
Well, she didn't tell us anything that might, actually help us prepare for.
Other than she enjoyed the cookie I gave her? No.
Well, glad she did her. Perhaps then we'd best start making way. Who knows? We might get through this without further bloodshed. But if they're not friends to us, perhaps they don't need to be enemies.
What's
Time will tell.
Fleabag's input?
Cynthia was here. Concern.
Is it concern now in your new bling pimp coat? Like,
I don't think I'm wearing the pimp coat at the moment,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay.
That's
somewhat
that's for-
disappointed, but that's fine.
I was going to. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
No, I don't think I would necessarily add anything to the conversation. Just mild internal concern.
Yeah. Is that visible on you though?
No, it's internal. Sorry.
Yeah, probably not. As soon as he said Cynthia was here, it'd be like, oh god, and start listening to what he's saying. But after that it seemed a somewhat benign visit. But
It does sound like her right benign visits.
It's not one of her more. She's arrived and knocked out one of us and now telling us to go.
I mean, context is king here, right?
Yeah, to be fair, and under the circumstances, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. So, heading on, or is there anything you want to do in the locale user in, which is again like mountainy terrain, like atmospherically, like you know that you're heading into like stormy territory for a bit, and you can obviously see like anytime there's a break in the the stormy weather that's like to come, you can see through that, and you see that obviously it gets to like colder, more kind of rocky weather further up. So you're kind of leaving behind like the slightly idyllic surroundings that seem to surround that kind of rocky area that the giants have. Because like that rocky area seems to be there, and then like surrounding that seems to be that slightly bit of forest. So there's like the north part and the south part. So beyond that seems to be stormy terrain, getting less green as we're going up, going into frosty terrain, and you can't really see much further up than that.
What we leave here, just I'm going to take maybe a half an hour or an hour just to search around for anything that might be used to add to the rations. Because
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
I'll get 10 rations, but
And I will assist you in that.
So do you want to roll survival then, Keldrath? And you can do it with advantage because Vanger's helping, and we can see how much you can like gather some supplies. Well, hey! Luckily Vanger helped. Yeah. Yeah, I think I can just give you like 10 days worth of rations out of that. Right? And I mean each.
just split that between us.
No,
each?
I mean each.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's why it's pretty good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's giving us 20 days worth of rations each. So
It also
that'll
gives
be
you a
nice.
hint at the type of like wildlife population you're dealing with in this area. Clearly
A
much
lot
more.
better.
Mm-hmm. So there's that. Yeah. Right. Andy doing anything else?
Can I,
Can you?
if he's taken an hour to do that,
I mean, it was probably
I
a bit
take-
longer than an hour, but yeah, it's narratively fine to like be a couple hours. Yeah.
well, can I take an hour to maybe sit and maybe, as some might say, do a ritual with my stick that I took from the ashes of the tree?
And that stick that I told you didn't have. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
That stick I told you didn't have. Because you said, can I search the grounds for bits of the tree, and I told you there was none left.
You told me I had a stick, and I thought I'd been carrying a stick around for this whole time.
I mean, shrug.
Is there a stick around just now?
Sure.
Can I take that stick and
Sure.
do some sort of ritual?
Can.
Okay. Do you want me to like put this into the chat?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
That just canonizes it, which I don't want. Like, apocrypha or nothing. So, yeah. Now you can do that if you want to try and like. Is this the first time you're going to have tried this since losing it?
This is the first time that I'm going to have tried this since losing it.
Okay, do you want to describe whatever he sees then? Who is, in fact, local here still? We can say it can be done like when people are here or not. I'm not really fussed who's watching. Like, are you specifically doing it because they're away?
I mean, I was specifically doing it because we're about to leave camp, and I thought it might be a good thing to do.
Agreed. But
Yeah.
also, was it specifically like done now? Because they're away,
no,
or not?
I was just going to do it because it was the morning. To be honest, that was it. Just because it was like a new day and stuff. That was it. Had nothing to do with anyone leaving. To be honest, it just so happened that they were doing their survival
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It just so happened. I hear you. Okay. No, that's fine. Like, I think I don't mind if people are around for this or not. Was mostly my point.
Yeah.
Because if they're around, they get to like look at it, and it's visually like, this is where our special effects budget went. So, do you want to describe it for folks? What it looks like?
That's a very good question. What does it look like? So basically, this is a ritual, and I believe I'd probably be like like kneeling down or sitting cross-legged on the floor to perform it, almost the same as I would in my trance. And I've got my little stick in my hand, which is my piece of the forest. And obviously it takes like an hour to perform the ritual, so I think probably beyond like within this time, like 'cause I just imagine it's kind of almost like a meditation thing. And while that's happening, basically Eltriss's green lovely skin would slowly be turning back to bark, and turning back into his wooden form.
Yeah. People look closely, might even see like bits of the forest like growing up and around him to help form this. Since he's in like a suitable terrain. Yeah. And then you get your cool wooden skin.
Yep.
Yeah. Probably does take on like the color tones of whatever the nearby trees are as well.
That's quite cool. I like that.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was cool. I just added that. Look at that.
It's now canon. It's in there.
I mean, I've said it now, so yeah, it's canonized, yeah.
So just before we do continue this, can I I take it the thing that this helps, I can just edit that just now to what it should be, yeah? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
That was all very cryptic.
isn't there a tick
Wait,
box for that?
What's that?
I thought I made a tick box for that.
Ah, okay, nice.
Did I not? I mean, I might not have. I might just have made that up.
I don't know.
So, go to your core page.
Core.
Okay.
Okay.
Scroll down. No. Alright, so let's go to the cog. Let's go to show that. Let's go back to core page. Scroll down. And let's. You see the bit under your attacks?
Yeah.
So you can just change that to whatever that actually all is. And then hit the cog once you're done.
So should I change the name to, is it Barkskin or something? Yeah.
I think Barkskin or something, yeah, is a bit long-winded. I think it does have a name though in your spell list.
It sure did. I need to go check it. Guardian Barkskin.
Yep.
Guardian Barkskin.
Guardian Barkskin.
Guardian
Barkskin.
Guardian Barkskin sounds like a colonial era English anthropologist who made up most of his findings and accidentally started a neo-pagan religion as a result.
It's kind of what happened to Eltris, actually. All of that, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, is that how the numbers work out there, Eltris? I've just moved this to the spell page. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So, if something gives you more than 16, that's fine, but you can't be less than 16 when you have that active.
Okay.
But you
You've been too.
So it's not for minors, basically.
Oh, sorry?
I wanted to be more cryptic. You're giving away my secret thing.
Okay, sorry. Everybody just add in, like we'll do some post-editing, right? So everybody just overlay this to what I said before. There you go. There you go. Is that mystic enough for you? Also, call what were you saying?
Thank you.
It's like what?
You said you can't be less than 16.
Ah, okay. Okay, yeah. Okay.
What?
I thought you were going to make something useful, like, it's not like mage armor or something useful.
Oh no, I was never going to anything useful, right? For fuck's sake.
My mistake. Oh dear. So anyway, so that happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Our elite hunters come back. Fleabit, what did you do?
Probably had some tea with the treat.
Did you just eat yours? Yeah.
Yeah, and that gives me 3 temporary hit points.
I think that's it. Yeah. I think
No,
it's
8. 8.
Oh, was it 8? Nice.
That's 8. Sure.
That's pretty
Pretty
good.
sure. I'm pretty sure it's just proficiency.
Yeah.
Let me just.
I don't remember, but 8 is a lot better than 3.
Famously.
It's 8.
Hit dice here. Well, at the end of the short rest, any creature who eats the food and spends 1 or more hit dice here again. Hit points again.
Yeah, it's not that one. It's the next one.
Next one.
Yeah, so it's temp HP equal to your proficiency. It's almost the last line. Temp HP equal to proficiency bonus.
Proficiency. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. It's still good though, because temp HP is still good.
Yeah, so that's 3 then. If you eat the
Yeah.
cookie.
You know what? I think I'll eat my cookie also.
Nice.
On the way back from foraging.
I like the idea that you just went off like, well, now we've got like backup food. I can eat this. Nom nom nom. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Like a treat for yourself.
And it stops having that property in 8 hours.
After 8 hours.
Yeah, so it has to be used anyway.
Yeah. But it's still
Sort of
nifty.
Go off.
I got one as well, didn't I?
Everybody got one,
You
yeah.
did.
Mhm.
I
There's
also
2
ate my
spares.
cookie after I went to 3.
Yeah.
I'll take mine as well then.
Yeah, everybody can eat their cookies.
What a great question. I love
like,
it.
like asking dad if they can get a snack. It's like, I guess so, ask your mother. Like,
Can I have one? Oh my god, I can't do that voice anymore.
please.
What did we say done, sorry, to the...
It's 3 temp HP until like you sleep, I think. I think it's until you sleep, yeah. I think it's till you rest, yeah.
Yes, until.
Did we ever discuss whether we can add these?
You can never
So
add
if
them.
I had another one just now?
Nope.
No, I don't
So,
think so.
It's a very weird temp HP rule, but for example, if Fleabite was able to give you 1 temp HP, but you still had 2 of your original 3, right, from the cookie, you'd have to pick between the 2 or the 1. You cannot combine them, which is an interesting rule D&D went with, but it is very, very clear. Some of the other rules, not so clear. Temp HP, very clear. You have to pick
I
one
think
source.
it's definitely just to avoid stacking it by spamming different spells.
But ultimately,
Oh
like,
yeah,
you can't really get...
I just done 7 cookies, 21 extra health points. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, but like,
Nobody's getting a cookie.
but like for one person at your level, I don't think that's that bad. Ultimately, right? Personally, if that was like a once per day move, which it kind of is, like, I don't really see why that's an issue. But 5e's like, oh no, it's super broken. Apparently.
Yeah, warlocks would be the ones.
Yeah.
The invocation to do it at will.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they could have.
But
Just
you
said
would, you just change the wording of it, right? Like they could just have fixed their temp HP system. And therein lies the problem. It's extra work, so they didn't. So yeah, and they don't stack sadly. It does mean though that if you do ever find yourself lower than the 3, for any reason, you can munch a cookie to get back to 3, which is nice. And just the same as Fleabite's, like, was it?
Dark One's blessing.
That's it, Dark One's Blessing. I couldn't get Devils out of my mouth there. I was like, what? So yeah, Dark One's Blessing. Where you can get, is it 1 or 2? Or is it more?
It's my charisma and my warlock level.
Okay.
For me, I think it is 3.
So it's 3. So like you can set yours to 3 when you have like something. You've killed it, right? You need to kill it.
I have to get the last hit.
Yeah. And that's quite funky. But if you had
And generally do.
yeah, because he's a clever player. He's the
And just the mild sadism in Fleabite, like, yes, I'm the one that kills you.
I
Yeah.
don't know, surely sadism would be prolonging their suffering.
I mean, it really
Possibly.
depends. Yeah.
Whatever word it is I'm meaning.
I think sadism does apply still though, but I think there is an argument to say for the other. But anyway, so that happens. What is the? Does anybody want to comment on the fact that Eltris can become part tree at will? Like, since it's the first time you're seeing him do it. Okay, would you say at the party?
Do you guys see that? No, I'm joking.
Nice
I don't want to
armor.
comment on it anymore. Thank you. It's tree bark.
Does this all mean you make burn easy?
Let's try not to find out.
You know, I was going to answer it, and then I was like, I don't know if Eltris would know that yet, though. You know what I mean? Because
I don't think you'd know it, yeah. I feel like you'd need to discover that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which in itself is an answer, which is nice.
Well, it
Yeah.
looks like you've begun to embrace the new role.
That is true. Yes. Yes, and it's I'm also embracing the look, and I'll just kind of look at my nice little wooden hands.
He's got so his eyes are very kind of like that slightly shining emerald green that the witches were.
Nice. Well,
Would you say they are more or less green than Damien Green's eyes?
Less. Is the answer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that there's a scale.
Well, he had Azamar levels of green eyes.
Okay. Oh yeah. I forgot.
So
Yeah.
very, very green. And Eltris is on his way to having that level of eye. Thank you.
Does this wear off as you travel through the day, or does it last for a longer period of time?
It does wear off. It does wear off.
The same as it did in the giant city.
Yeah. 'Cause I also feel like I feel weird answering questions about this because I know how long it lasts for. You know what I mean? But I'm also like, I feel like Eltris would just kind of assume that it just kind of goes away eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like you can say that because the way right, so in D&D a lot of things like will either last like say a minute because it's to do with like a battle. It's to do with a battle, right? And that's 10 rounds essentially of a fight. So that's a fight that's meant to last for. If it's meant to last for 10 minutes, it's a role play power probably, or a very, very useful long like a I can't remember what it is, but one of the summoning spell type things that was quite early on is like a 10-minute spell. For like clerics, I'm sure. So like it'll either be like this is OP levels of maybe it's one fight into
it's the whole party heal thing.
Yeah.
It does the 10-minute cast, yeah.
And but that one specifically an out of combat one, what I mean is there's some things that are an action to use but lasts 10 minutes in a fight. So it's like 100 rounds of like, well, that's for multiple fights that are sequential. But things that are like say 8 hours are meant to be, it's meant to last you the adventuring day, as opposed to 2 fights that are sequential. You could have 2 fights, sit in the pub for a couple hours, and then go get your last fight for the day, and it should still apply. And that's the loose basis. It was never really meant to be as written, as people play it. It was just meant to be if it's 8 hours, you've got it for the day. Like Mage Armor, you wake up, you cast Mage Armor, that's your day sorted. But it does say it lasts 8 hours when you read Mage Armor, which is kind of crap if the GM waits for that exact 8th hour to pass to hit you with a fight.
Yeah.
Because that's not the spirit of why it was written that way. And I want to say it was Jeremy Crawford that said all this, but I can't remember. But this was like way early on when 5e was released. All this came out about how specific the numbers were, and really that's what it's meant to mean. Like, does it work for this fight only, multiple fights nearby each other, or the day? So it should be all of your fights in this day. And that's it. Because I think yours does say 8 hours. FYI.
Yeah, it's 8 hours.
So realistically, it would last you a day, and it would have to be redone each day. And that's really how like Eltris would see it. You wouldn't sit and go, well, that was exactly 8 hours according to the watch I don't own. Yeah.
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 But you could time exactly 8 hours now, given that you have a spell that would wear off. It's kind of dumb, right? But yeah, that's kind of what it means. So, and you would have noticed him like becoming that, and then like roughly 8 hours later it wearing off after that first day. Like maybe he's all go to bed and he wakes up and he's back to just being Green Eltris, or fully Green Eltris this time, I guess. It's maybe how that would have kind of like came to. So yeah, that makes sense, right? I'm sure everybody's on the same page with that. Good. So So, nobody else to get anything else to do except all that. You pack up your stuff. You start to make tracks. You're starting to head into the other territory. Can I? I'm assuming it's Keldrath and Vanger that are navigating up front, or is it Elchis and Vanger? Or I just assume it's Vanger and someone usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still going to release the hawk out each morning. I'm going to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Need to do the survival roll then.
Yeah, and if Keldrath's helping with the hawk, that's perfect.
Helping with the hawk.
Yeah, excellent. And what I'll do is I'll actually get you, Keldrath, to roll for the hawk. So you should have control over the hawk. I think I did assign it to you.
You did.
So if you open its sheet, so what you can do is it's tokens on the main splash screen. If you hold Alt and just double click it, should open. In theory.
Right, let's go through that again.
Yep, so if you click on the token, if you just hold Alt and just double click it, the token, you should go to its sheet for you. Same that it's using a token on Roll20, it's attached to a character sheet, that's how you open it. Hold in Alt, double click with your mouse. Does that work for you, bud?
Maybe I'm not double clicking quick enough. You see it? It's just not opening up a.
It isn't opening up like a minimized version of it somewhere at the top of the screen, no?
Yeah, it could be. It's not.
As I said, it should be in your journal tab as well. But instead of having the hawk lower the difficulty, it gets advantage on perception checks, so I may as well make it roll that. Is my main point here, if it's getting used to.
Let's check if it's dropped underneath. No.
It's okay, just go to the journal tab then. The right hand side. And find it that way.
Yeah.
It should be called Hawk.
Right at the top.
Yep.
It is.
It's definitely not right at the top for me, that's for sure. What a crap I've got on top of that.
It's still not open.
Should. Interesting.
No, it doesn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it opens for me. What I'll do is I'll edit it so that it's just an all players can open it, right? And in that way, we can assign the hawk to someone else if need be as well. There you go. It's now under you and everyone. Can anyone else open it?
I mean, I bet you I can if I want to. See it, but I bet you I could.
Well, you can see its token on the main screen, right? So
Can I?
you should be able to.
Is it the one up at the top of the journal that just says Hawk?
Yep.
Oh, I see it now.
Please tell me.
Yeah, I clicked it and it just popped up.
Okay. Oh, see, the thing is, to me, I couldn't even make out what that was in the picture. I can see it's a hawk in the bio. It's a very cute animal, actually. I really like that. It looks like a very fluffy boy. -4 intellect, Hanek Hawk. Anyway.
Yeah. It is also a nice piece of art, to be fair.
It's gorgeous. It looks so fluff.
So, if someone who is going to roll for the hawk. Nobody that can actually access the sheet. Oh my god. Okay, Colin. Okay, Elchis, good. Open the hawk. It's better if it's somebody that hasn't rolled much. So yeah, open the hawk, click on perception +4 under the skills section. Well, it should already be toggled at advantage. I think someone's toggled it for advantage already.
Oh, finally it opens.
Literally as he's already clicked. Yep, perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So long as it does work, though, that's the main thing.
Yeah,
which is
that
good.
is fair.
Which is good. Right, so you start navigating up then. And I guess we're probably back to Fleabite for rolling, which is funny. Fleabite, can you roll me a D4 plus 2? Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, 6 days into your journey. That's a lot of time, folks. FYI.
I think so, yeah.
So that's 6 of those 10 rations gone. FYI. Yous are navigating, obviously. Nothing of particular interest, other than it's been 6 days of stormy weather. Right? It's just got slowly worse, like rain, obviously, initially. It's probably made the climb a bit hard. Then a lot of the greenery's like kind of like peeled away. You've got into like a lot more like higher wind speeds have come up. There's been like thunder and lightning. There has been a lot of thunder and lightning off in the distance. Nothing seems to be like centralized over you specifically. That's probably a good thing if you think about the grander context of everything. Or don't, and that's fine. But yeah, so everybody should have marked off obviously 6 of their 10 new rations, and then.
Well, I forgot to even mark them on in the first place.
Perfect. Well, add 4.
I'm doing that. I'm doing it.
Perfect. And then.
I'm unfollowing.
You were the one that just like you're the one that hunted. You're like that cookie was that good.
Destroy it, Isildur!
Funny you should.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, it is funny you should mention that because you start to see lava pools from part of the mountain now, which was why I thought that was really funny and well timed. Again, stay out of my notes. So yeah, you start to pass by that. The heat difference is obviously probably quite comfortable compared to like going through like the wet and kind of miserable and dank storm. And I mean dank in the original sense, not in the cool hip sense.
Wet.
Yeah. Miserable is definitely the tone of the last 6 days probably. And the fact that the climb has been in itself a bit of a slog. Like you have done very, very well, probably because of your just general background there, Vanger, right? And like I guess just like Kildra's determination to get through this. You have both managed to like find the best route through like a lot of this kind of like rocky terrain again. As I said, it's starting to get like kind of slick. Again, pretty precarious. I don't doubt that there may or may not have been times where Eltrys was forced to carry Fleabite. Just because Fleabite is probably the best climber in the team, but also doesn't mind being carried. And yeah, like once you start to hit things like where you can find like lava pulling out of the side of the mountain and like pooling in certain areas, or pouring out the side, pooling in certain areas. That made sense. Pulling and pouring, yeah, that'll do. You can like these have set up camp nearish by to benefit from the heat of it, but not necessarily the fumes from it as such. And you just travel on through. This becomes a bit more of a kind of common terrain type, where it does seem to be a lot more dry stone, and it seems like you've kind of passed by like the storm layer, as it were. You're heading into a lot more of a very dry air atmosphere, and very kind of almost startlingly, you're greeted by another large chap, shall we say. Another very large chap. And I'll put him on here. Bam.
Is this some sort of fire jet? Is that Ganon? Is that Ganon?
It is not, but it does look a bit like him. Could be
It
his brother.
also looks distinctly like a fire giant to me.
Oh yeah. But to Vanger, who knows what it could be?
Okay, could I roll culture?
Yeah, let's quickly go to the Monday game.
Yeah. Insight?
No, it'd be history, right? If anything, or
History?
it would be maybe like your roll Arcana.
I'd go for history if I have the choice.
Okay, yep.
13.
Nope. You got nothing.
Nothing.
Nope.
He looks very less like Ganon in that picture with his little tiny legs.
But he does have shoes.
He looks hilarious, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, he looks pretty fucking funny.
Mm. Tell him that.
Okay.
It's like you're very like abruptly stopped. Like for example, you were negotiating up, and then he's just there again, standing somewhat similar to his pose there.
Hello.
Kind of just like looks at you all as if he's like just noticing how many there are of you, and then he starts speaking in a giant to you guys.
I'm afraid we don't. This is awkward. Can you do that thing, Fleabite?
But what if not friend?
Well, at least we know that he was not wanting to speak to us, I guess. Hold on a second. I hold up a finger just to say sort of like, hold on. Wait, there's a thing.
It's the best dramatic zoom I've ever done.
That was quite scary.
Oh dear, so good.
Then I'll Fleabite will look at Keldrath and sort of point to his shoulders.
Oh, gee. Up you go.
Fleabite will climb up to be a bit closer, higher up to
Okay,
this guy. But,
These are like 10 feet, right? When you are that height, right? That is roughly where you are? Yeah, 10 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sort of, I guess, pantomime or charade style of point at head and then point at his head.
Roll perform. Your favorite skill.
Yep. Can't really be disappointed in an average, slightly less than average roll.
Yeah, it's reasonable. So technically the roll is like kind of just exactly averages it out, like an 11 out of 20. Like, just because you got your -1, that's the problem. It gives you a look. I guess you don't really know what the look means, but it hasn't like made any moves yet. It just continues to like speak in giant.
Then I'll reach out with my mind.
The bells. You cast Toll the Dead. Yeah.
Yes.
The balls are tooling.
I guess I'll add one. Add everyone.
Yeah.
Not that it helps them necessarily, but just.
Oh, it's still worthwhile, right? If you're going to use it, why not? And you're rolling for how long it lasts? But hey. Okay.
Oh.
I'll think to him. And point to myself, say, "This Fleabite, small dwarf thing, not understand your speak squeak."
As soon as you do that, like you can see him like take a very kind of like disciplined stance with his big blade, as if like readying to attack something. As his eyes dart around.
Fleabite jumps off Keldra's back. Ducks behind him.
It's just us speaking. There's hello.
He babbles in giant to you, and then I guess he thinks to Fleabite. How are you able to do this to my mind?
Fleabite do many things, yes. It of not mean harm.
And then like he hasn't like relaxed at all. He says, "Are you in league?" and he doesn't say anything else, but there was clearly like meant to be more. He doesn't finish it. He's kind of like waiting to gauge you.
I'll.
Gonna roll insight because that's something Fleabag's never done.
Is that true?
I have no idea. Is it true? I don't know.
I believe you. You know what? I'm just accepting that as canon.
No, I think Fleabag has once, and it was not a success.
If he doesn't do it, I'm going to do it.
Oh, who wants the success?
Yeah, I'll do it, but I'm not expecting much.
Wow. Not expecting much. Just eyes open to infinity. Yeah. You better be very, very careful how you choose to answer the "Are you in league?" ... question. You are imagining that this is maybe the make or break for this thing attacking you.
I, at the speed of thought.
And also
Well-
remember, folks, only he and it can understand that conversation.
Okay.
But
Yous
I
can
will
all,
just,
yous can all speak to Fleabite, but he can only speak out to one. Is that right?
Well, he's only speaking.
Right.
I mean, is there any? It doesn't really state how the group chat works. I feel there's no real reason that I couldn't say it all to everyone.
Paste it in
Yeah, I
and we'll
think
work
you'd
with
be
it
able
going
to do it
forward.
to everybody, but coming back the way would only be one-to-one.
Well, let's see what it says. It should give us some kind of indication. One more creature is for number of hours chosen. The chosen creatures can speak telepathically with you, and you can speak telepathically with them. To send or receive message, no action required. You and the other creature must be within 1 mile of each other. Which that would tell me it says creature, not creatures. So that is one per convo. Does that make sense? It says a creature can't use this telepathy, it can't. So yeah, like to me that would say it's very individual. If it kept with the them vibe it started with, I'd agree with you, but it doesn't. It very quickly switches. Sadly, D&D is this wordy. So, what are you saying? What are you saying, Fleabag? Keep in mind, you can obviously loop in your teammates, as long as it doesn't take 7 years of dialogue.
Yeah, it was. I guess for brevity, I will quickly say to Vanger, it asks if we are in league.
League with him? With who? With somebody else?
It not say, but it urge.
I think Banger is pretty confused by this. Could I roll insight, or would I just be rolling insight essentially?
No,
On
you can. No, like,
Fleabite?
you could. You could roll insight on this to try and gauge, because you can
Okay.
try and gauge its.
Fair warning. I don't think my insight's the best, if I recall. Again, oh no, it literally is my best stat. I'm an idiot. It's 18 though.
Okay.
No better.
Obviously, your difficulty is just a bit higher. That's all, because you're going on less, contextually, but you still at least witnessed his body language and whatnot. You'd probably guess, and same with Fleabite. I guess you could read into this a bit further as well. You probably guess this thing is clearly asking if you're in league with something else, because it would be weird
Yeah.
if it wasn't that. That's the
Well,
vibe
I
you're getting.
don't know who it thinks we're in league with. I mean, we're ourselves, really.
Okay. Then I think Fleabite will say to Vanger that we'll tell giant thing yes, and then to the giant thing, Fleabite will say, "We group travel pack in bond be held to not others. No."
I'm going to roll insight.
No.
Because, yeah, I think that's fair. They don't have a skill in insight, so it's just a wisdom roll. It's not great. It's not great. It'll just reply, your words, make them simpler. Again, that's psychically back to Liberty.
Fleabite is in. Fleabite is in not league with others.
Are you old, Fleabite?
Fleabite is Fleabite. They are with Fleabite.
You're in league with them. Them alone?
Fleabite alone.
His eyes narrow and his sword grip tightens. I can see plainly you are not alone, you lie. Your deceptions will not, I think, what would be the word? Ensorcel me? Yeah. Your deceptions will not ensorcel me. This looks like it's going badly, Vanger, by the way. Visually.
Fleabite travel companion with others, and of these others.
I'm going to say in
Brain speak.
Primordial.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know any of the Primordial?
And then he replies in Ignan, which is the fire primordial.
Okay.
He replies in that and say, you speak our tongue. How?
Well, I was taught some in the temple, and I picked up other bits and bobs. I'm not as I get by. I'm sure it's not. I don't have a full grasp, but I think we can perhaps talk more easily. Fleabite has a strange.
He points his sword at Fleabite and he says psychically to you, Fleabite, we are not done, rat thing. And then turns back to Vanger and says, this is more pleasing to use words.
Yes, it's less jarring. My friend here says that you were concerned we might be in league with someone.
Yes. Are you?
Aside from each other, not really. I mean, we're hoping to head to Barris in hope.
He just belly laughs immediately. Just it kind of like fills the mountainside, and then
I know it's not something a lot of people succeed in.
You are so small to travel so far. Is this why you're bringing a mascot?
Well, he's very useful. He can do all sorts of magical things.
You're like indicating to Fleabite.
Yeah.
He points.
Oh,
goes,
I knew who
no,
you meant.
this one. Points to Eltress.
Oh, the elf. Oh, he's quite tough.
That is no elf.
Well, he doesn't look it anymore, but he was at least.
He kind of gives you like a
Some
narrow.
sort of forest thing now.
Gives you like a kind of like narrow down. Goes, do you try to trick me?
I'm not really one for the trickery. He
He gives
wasn't
you.
always like that.
He gives you like a suspicious look and goes, if you were trying to trick me, that would be a good way to start.
Maybe I'm not though.
Kind of narrows his eyes. You can hear him like a growl. To
I'm
himself.
Vanger, by the way.
You are a dwarf.
Aye, yes, I am.
I know of dwarfs.
I've travelled obviously quite some way, as if you're
I do not
familiar
know
with
of
this.
Vanger dwarf, but I know of other dwarfs. Just nods. As if, yeah.
Would I be right in thinking yourself one of giant kind?
He laughs. He goes, to your kind, who are small, I am giant. He kind of looks proud at that.
That's true. That's true. I can't deny that.
Yep.
We were hoping to pass this way on our way to Barris. Is that?
Then you have
Is
come
there
to
somewhere
fight them.
Wait, who's there to fight?
He laughs. He goes, you come all this way and are not prepared? Or are you prepared but do not know?
I hope it's the second one.
As do I. You are amusing. It would be a shame to lose this so suddenly.
Thank you. But who is there to fight?
He gives you like a worried look. And he
Not the
says,
Baru themselves, I hope.
he laughs. They hide behind their walls.
Okay, well that's shooting. But there are others this far up, aside from yourself, I'm sure.
There are many. The mountain lives. He points at
Aye.
all of you with like his sword, as if, see?
It has been busier than anticipated this far up.
He kind of gives you like a funny look. And then he says, you have not come to fight. You can clearly see like he is like putting stuff together.
I
Yeah.
don't like to fight if I don't have to, you know?
How did you get so far up the mountain?
Well, there was some fighting, but we tried to avoid it as much as possible. And we had a good guide, although he had some tribal business to deal with.
Scrolls at that. He says, where do you intend to go next? You travel to see the Baru. What if the Baru not take guests?
Well, he scratches his beard. To be honest with you,
Then you come all this way for nothing.
I mean, I trust that it won't be for nothing. Obviously, I can't guarantee that they'll be in the mood for guests. Yes, that's true.
Pray
But-
not speak to many.
But I'm sure that that this will be an occasion that they do.
They will not like rat mind thing. He thinks that as he says it to you. So that Fleabite gets it at the same time as you do.
Vanker responds still primordial, obviously.
Mhm.
Well, yes, but then that seems to more or less be the case most places, so we're used to it.
He kind of growls a bit again. Well, good luck. And he just turns,
Thank you.
starts to walk away.
Goodbye then.
Nothing, just carries on walking away.
So I return to others in common and say, well, he's a bit worried about someone coming up here, but I don't think it's us. So he shrugs. He does seem to think that there's people ahead that will be more likely to want a fight with us, but he wasn't really very clear on who. Didn't like the psychic stuff, by the way. Sorry about that.
I think Fleabite is going to sneeze. Like, violently out loud, but then also just psychically reproduce the sound.
Right? Okay. Why? And to who?
Just kind of-
Just to the giant.
Oh
Okay.
god.
What is your like desired outcome from this? What is the attempt trying to replicate?
It is probably like an attention-seeking gesture.
Okay. Okay. Roll persuade. It's the best I got that D&D gives me. Oh, it's beautiful. The big guy stops off in the distance, looks around, turns round, scowls a little bit. I guess, in Fleabite's, general direction. We get a nice dramatic zoom, obviously, at some point in our lives. And then you hear in your head, "Why are you still in my head?"
Fleabite, very important.
He just starts walking back. He just starts walking back. Like, just like dump, 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 yeah, on the way back.
And Fleabite cuts the connection.
He starts like, you can hear him like muttering something in the distance as he's getting closer. And then he approaches, and he looks at you, Vanger, and he points at Fleabite. He goes, and Primordial he starts going, "This one's still in my head. Why he do this? I was leaving. We are not in league."
Bear with me 1 second in Primordial. I'll speak to him. Fleabite, what are you saying to the giant?
And he stands with like his hand on like his hip as if, yeah, tell him.
Fleabite not connected.
He says he's not connected with you anymore.
There's a wee bit of cheeky met game in there, I think, wasn't that? And he says, how he speak in head?
Well, I think he was before, but isn't now.
How am I to believe? He'd tell lie before. He said he was alone. Points at all of you, like a gesture. Not alone.
He is very self-interested, though. I guess that's kind of similar.
I do not see why.
I don't know how we would check.
Heaves sword
Think
off back
something at him.
and goes, "I know how to check."
Well, think something at him and see if he reacts to it.
And he gives you like a very, very nice stare. Isn't it great that these people lean into their portraits?
Something rude.
And
See if he
then,
gives a response.
I'm not rude. And then, yeah, he thinks real hard at you, Fleabite.
Fleabite stares back while hiding 90% of him behind Keldrath.
You go, see? He hide, he know.
I think he's just intimidated, to be honest with you. He's not very big.
He chuckles a tiny bit, like, almost, not quite dismissively, but almost in that kind of, he wants to laugh at that, but also at the same time, this is serious business, apparently. He goes, I know like this. Why you do this? Why you pick on me? He's like points accusingly at Fleabite.
He's still quite upset. Is there anything you can do to show him that you're not still doing the thing, Fleabite?
Temptation just to reconnect.
I love that you're trying to prove like a negative though. And
I know.
It's so good.
Vanger is not a scientific thinker.
I mean,
Express the onus of evidence is on him. Go for it.
I guess the only thing that more of an Alexander can say that Banger would know how to disconnect.
And arguably, isn't everybody disconnected now if you broke the link?
Yeah.
That's going to pick
But
him up.
as in, like,
Okay.
we can do it from our end without having. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well. Uh. Well, see, right. Hold on, because you don't have to listen to him, even if he thinks at you. You can stop him from doing it yourself if you just. It's hard to.
Then you would not miss companion. And he like hefts his sword again.
Please don't squish him. He's very helpful. Well, he's mostly very helpful.
What he do?
He's good in a fight if we need that, and
Ah,
he can.
he laughs at
do-
that and goes, He's small. I guess he fast.
Quite, yeah.
How fast he?
A lot faster than me.
How fast you?
Not very.
Dwarf's not known to be fast.
Over a short distance, we can. He's definitely the
Very good
fastest
sprinters.
That's what I was trying
I'm
to
so
say.
glad someone was going to say it.
So good. Peak. Yeah.
He's been most helpful to us. I know that he can be.
Tell
a bit
him he make it up to
strange.
me. He race me.
Okay, that'd be interesting. I tell you what. Let me say that to him. He wants you to race him.
Race run or race distance? Yes.
I'm struggling
me
to know the
check.
difference between that.
What are the rules? Is it fastest to a certain point, or
And he sits and he thinks. I say sits. He stands there and he thinks to himself. And he goes, He looks around, thinking like, there goes, cliff edge. He points away over in the distance. It's probably like 200 feet away.
okay?
He goes,
Cliff edge.
To
right.
there, back here. Fastest.
I'll nod to him and turn to Fleabite and say, really first to the cliff edge and back. I mean, he's got big legs, but you are quick.
Fleabite, someone's challenging you.
I know. Yeah. Fleabite will be like.
She was like, my god, this is the best wind thing that isn't a wind thing.
Yeah, but Fleabite was pretty confident he could beat the wind thing. Fleabite, fast, quick, and Fleabite win well, yes. Not always of normal, quick means.
So you're saying this to Vanger.
Yes.
I think I understand you, but okay. Right. So
He say
one
yes,
sec.
or he say no. He too scared?
It's a yes from him, I think. So how about somebody does a countdown?
What is countdown?
Like, before you start, you do a count so that
Why
you
not
get to the
simply
same
say
number
run?
and you go. Or you could just say run.
You have Horn of Battle?
Do we?
Don't know, do you?
I don't think we have a horn. Does anyone have a horn? You're a barbarian, Eltris. Do you have a horn?
I don't think I do.
Weird, I've got this whistle app though.
I used to know a guy that had bagpipes. He was here. That could have worked.
Really?
Fleabite.
Bagpipes to start a race?
Yeah.
Fleabite, we're saying?
Well, Fleabite could hand the cast a bell to Vanger.
Yeah, okay.
I would say Vanger Vanger was there of the bet with Adair of the holding breath incident.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so as long
I
as
know that this is probably not a good idea, but I'm struggling to think of a good way out of it.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
that's fine.
think you might just be amused if you win.
Mm.
I'm hoping anyway.
Fleabite is fast. That is a thing. That's
here's an idea.
For a
I
small thing.
I could do thaumaturgy to make a really loud go noise. How about that?
Sure. Like what? Like
I'll say that to them both, and I'm not role playing it twice
Yeah.
if I don't need to. It's like, how about I use magic to make my voice really loud, and I'll just shout "go."
he kind of goes. Okay.
And I'll say mentally to Fleabite that, but I'll use the primordial word for "go" so that somehow psychically he understands that I'm going to shout it in primordial.
Okay. So
I know.
I assume that you did agree to race him. Is really the
It
gist here.
sounded like it to me, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So the go word is shouted. Fleabite, do you go anywhere? He seems to be like limbering up. As soon as the go word's been given, he starts to like stretch and twist as if loosening up, as if he's about ready to bolt.
Okay,
Is it-
player agency.
Okay.
Should Fleabite start running or should Fleabite start shenanigans?
Oh God.
I mean, I'll do one thing to see if you are fully aware of your situation. It's that is your
Yeah.
situation.
Is Fleabite more concerned with winning or not getting squished? I think is the question for Fleabite. It's possible you might have to roll to determine that. I don't know.
I think the player agency moment is really what are the shenanigans?
So my first thought is
The deepest.
I guess you all know how the rat wins the race in the Chinese calendar.
Let's imagine that we're wholly ignorant.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know
explain for
that.
the audience. Yeah.
In the story, it's a massive race between all the animals of the zodiac, and the rat wins by jumping on the ox's back and then jumping off at the last moment.
Okay, that makes sense.
Were you
I feel
born
like
the
that
year
would
of the
annoy him.
rat?
I was indeed.
That makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
I was Snake.
Rabbit.
Monkey, I think.
The snake rabbit monkey.
So basically, my thought was if
I'd love it if
he
you were
gets-
dragon, though, Chris. That'd be great. It would peak if you were dragon in the Chinese New Year.
if he got in front of me to try and spider climb and stick to his back.
Okay. Yep. Nope. Like you seem to have a head start if you want it, quite significantly. It seems.
Okay, then I'll start. I think I'll start as a run, and if we start to lose, then we'll resort to shenanigans.
Okay. So are you gonna go your speed and then dash action and then like your is it cunning action to dash again to get like the most out of like
Yes.
your baseline speed or whatever your like
Yes.
move economy actually happens to be?
So I'll put that in.
Do you have expeditious retreat? Are you gonna do that?
God,
Uh,
you can move
no.
crazy fast if you want to, can't you?
So I'll put that in, and so that's why I'm not doing it, is because it allows me to move to dash as a bonus action, which I can already do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but not
But
by the
Not
one
with
that I-
nimble escape. No, not with that. But with something else.
Sorry, it is.
I really enjoy that your yes is spelled lowercase then uppercase. That just appeals to me. Yeah. Okay. So you're basically going. What is your normal speed?
So my normal speed is 35.
Right, so you're
No,
going 3 times that.
Indeed.
So it's like 100. Is that 105 or I got that totally wrong?
Yep, it's 100.
105, yeah. So 105 feet. So you're saying in 12 seconds you can get there and back.
Yeah.
Just to put in context how fast Fleabite is. 200 feet, 12 seconds.
It's completely ludicrous, to be
It's
honest.
absolutely ridiculous,
For
right?
a 3.5-foot rat, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned for the 20-foot giant.
So, you obviously vanish in 6 seconds because, let's face it, you're a mini rocket. And he just stands there chuckling. And looks to you, Vanger, and go, "He fast.
I know it.
Thought would take longer." He just kind of keeps chuckling to himself.
Ah. Vanger's trying to figure out if he thinks like they'll do it sequentially rather than at the same time, or
You could roll if you want to do a wee insight, yeah. Or you could just ask him. I suppose if you really wanted it crazy.
It's a 22.
Give me 2 seconds.
For your information, 1972 is Year of the Rat, believe it or not.
Really? Yeah. So we have
Yeah.
2 years of the rat here. That's cool. Okay. So, yeah, you can probably tell Vanger, when you're looking at him, like he had no intention of running,
Ah.
not at all.
Uh.
Just made Fleabite do this for the hell of it.
Huh. Okay.
He just looks amused that Fleabite is that fast. Because he definitely he looks like a tiny, like his shoulders aren't like tense or whatever, and he does seem amused by the whole thing, and he doesn't look like he's got any attempt to like run, at all.
Yes, he is. He is very quick.
He kind of looks down at you. He goes.
I thought you were gonna race him.
He laughs. He goes, "No." And he just laughs again.
Oh well.
That would be tiring.
Yes. Yeah. No. To be fair, it would.
Also, cliff dangerous. Kind of nods, just kind of chuckling to himself again, and then by that point, I guess Fleabite's back.
I think for Flair, like the last, so the last 14 feet. Yes, yeah, the last 14 feet, Fleabite does as a long jump, just
nice. Okay, can I roll acrobatics?
Oh.
Or athletics, I think it is, right? It's athletics, isn't it? So, a long jump. Maybe athletics check, buddy.
Yes, it's.
You've had a very long run up for this, though, so you've definitely covered the base requirement.
It's athletics to clear low obstacles and acrobatics to land on your feet in difficult terrain.
Sure, I know those apply, so I'm just going to say it's athletics to kick off the ground.
Cool.
Because I know you'd want it to be acrobatics, which is why it's funnier if it's athletics. I think you're good at both. But hey!
It's a pretty good roll.
How does it look, Fleabite?
I mean, I think it's got to be like
It's pretty
forward
good.
roll. Like it's a leap, you know, like of, and I think in fairness, the whole way Fleabite's been on all fours, and then that final one is just that leap, going very streamlined, and then landing in a forward roll.
Yeah. I found 2 fun gifts. I am in that search. So yeah, you get a damn good roll. As I said, I feel like it's funner if it's 20 seconds it takes, but it really is 12. Like,
Yeah, that's
yeah, it's ridiculously fast. But yeah, he kind of juggles in it as you come back and like do your roll. He kind of like leans down and then kind of just goes to like look at you, and he puts like his hand out as a fist towards you, Fleabag.
just we might interpret that.
Um, I think.
His face isn't quite what the portrait would say, of course.
Okay.
It's slightly less intense looking.
Sorry, Chris.
Just randomly starts cooking. In 12 seconds, I'll race him, shall
Oh wow!
Yep.
Yeah,
He's lobbed directly into their mouths as they arrive.
yeah. Fleabite will, I guess, mimic the action.
Okay, so like, put your fist out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just bumps your fist. And he says something
Nice.
that only Vanger can obviously understand. He goes, "You won! Well done."
He says you won.
Fleabite bestest always win. Yes.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
He says he always wins. Which, to be fair, he is very competitive.
Yes. This is a good trait. And he kind of nods to you and goes, he points at you very like deliberately, Vanger. You should nurture this trait in him.
Yes.
And you might actually use the word kindle for obvious reasons.
Okay. Yeah, for thematic.
It
Yep.
makes way more sense to say you should kindle this trait in him.
I'll nod gravely as if I know the significance of this.
I nod in my class. Yes. So yeah, and then he kind of just like stands up and goes, "Yous have amused. Bye," and starts to walk away again.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Sneezing
Well.
his head again.
What was that?
Said sneezing his head again.
I will say out loud in common. Well, that was tense, but he didn't seem too bad. He just a bit on edge.
Fleabite,
What did you say to him after he left, anyway?
Fleabite say squeak nothing. Fleabite sneeze. Fleabite itch nose. And has a good scratch.
Rampant lies. Like,
do I even need to
No.
roll for that?
I mean, you saw how things played out. I feel like no is the answer.
Yeah.
I think you all hear from behind you a melodic lady's voice saying,
Ooh.
"Most impressive, Fleabite. I see the mountain hasn't
Yes.
sapped your strength." And then you all turn around dramatically to reveal that it's dun, 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 dun. It's Cynthia, and she's just standing there like with her kind of like chin gripped with like her hand as she supports like her elbow with her other hand crossed over her, and she just says, "It's a shame they're all going to die." That's where we end the session. And it's
God's
they are
sake,
all going to
Cynthia.
die. So, what would you like to call this session?
It's a fairly self-centered one, but
I was literally about to type rat race. Yeah.
You know what? It would be wrong of us to select anything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out and say it's the only morally acceptable answer.
Excellent. It made sense.
The quickest title we've done in a long time.
Sometimes they just jump out at you, though, right? Yeah. Well, good. I like it when that's like nice and efficient that way. Okay, so also is the second week now that he's had a focus on the titles because it was flea market last time. Got him hogging all the titles. So Yeah. I mean, to be fair,
Very
that
fast.
is pretty impressively fast, though. Like, that's disgustingly
Oh, yeah.
fast. I thought like
Yeah.
200 feet would be a reasonable like amount of time. I guess it's technically it was like 24 seconds if it was 200 feet away. I didn't really
Yeah.
calculate that right. However, it doesn't really matter. You were fast, faster than what makes sense.
Yeah, but I think would um, like I think Keldrath could probably match me.
Oh, monks can get fast, 100%. Yeah, but you are just that fast with no expense. That's the difference.
Speed's
And-
45, so
Yeah, and is Eltrus not like 40 as well?
Hmm.
But you can take dash twice on your turn.
but it's the boast. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. There's nothing really there that'll boost my speed. It's just I'll step of the wind.
I was going to say, but you need to spend. I think you need to spend key points to be as fast as Fleabite. What I mean by that is like the efficiency mechanically, not the speed exactly.
Yeah.
Like you are obviously naturally faster doing your one move action, but Fleabite can just every single turn with no cost do 3 move actions, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, so I can double the distance for spending a key point. Yeah.
Which is great. It is like monks are super fast, but at the moment like Fleabite's like abilities are just like you don't waste key to do it, so it's
Exactly. Yeah.
it's why you will be fastest in that regard. Although like by the time like Keldrath's like speed actually climbs, he might be able to like rival you to a degree, quite well, because his speed will obviously keep increasing as his level increases in monk, which is nice. Beyond that though, goals. Let's have a look at those. We have not reached the city of Barris, but somebody at least spoke about it today. It wasn't the
Yay!
party.
Yeah, actually, I think we got some quite good information on that fairly short exchange.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we did actually.
Mhm.
They don't. They seem to be reclusive even within the context of their mountain.
Mhm.
Like it's not just that they're up there; they're up there behind their walls. Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
Like it really
Oh
amused
my
him when you
God.
mentioned, obviously, going to Barris as well. Just like a belly laugh. Right, so we're looking at that then. Decides fate of Dragon Egg. That was discussed today.
yeah.
Look at that.
It was.
I think.
Mhm.
I think we're all. How right? What are we leaning in terms of that? Because Vanger is gonna kind of in that I don't know, but he does kind of hate to needlessly kill things, so he'd probably be easily swayed to the don't kill it side.
Which is fair.
So, or does that give us a majority for that, or
It needs to be discussed in game as a team though, to actually
Yeah.
quantify. Right, that definitely is something that I want to have on like, in the RP. But it is something worth talking about. Definitely. Like, so at the moment, I guess we know like Keldrath, you're definitely in favor of like it's probably not worth destroying, since you've kind of been on the protect the dragon egg thing. Cynthia seems to be pretty much on your side as well. It sounds like as well. Vanger, I think you sounded like you were saying that you were easily like nudged into that column. But just based on like what you've mentioned about like, the Stormfather and stuff, it makes sense. If like you
yeah,
know,
just it's his natural inclination. He
Mhm.
hasn't made up his mind on it, but
that's fair.
that is just how he leans in terms of his behavior.
What about Eltrus? Dragon egg
Um,
omelette or dragon egg new pet?
Dragon egg omelette, and my intention was to attack it as soon as we see it.
Legit though.
No, I want another pet as well as my stag head. I feel like, in character wise, Eltrus would probably be like, "Holy
Petting
shit,
it doesn't make it a pet.
I don't think I've saw a dragon before, and he wants to see one. And to Eltrus, yes, it does. Ryan,
Okay,
sorry.
okay. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm
Oh.
just so right, and I don't mean this as any offense to my very good friend Callum. I'm just glad we don't have to contend with Callum sometimes, because how much worse would this be if he was involved?
He was involved
I
way
know,
back when.
I know. You know how he is with eggs.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. Oh dear. To be fair though, on this side of things, it seems like you're all in the same kind of boat as Callum would probably be.
Yeah, probably.
I also think Callum's exact comments about the egg way back when were, "Oh, it's mine."
That says about right.
Not keep or destroy, like save or destroy. Sorry, just it's mine now. Remember, he played a priestess of chaos and had a bit of a run-in, like a headbutt directly with Cynthia.
Oh.
I heard that headbutt. I heard that.
So, besides
Sorry.
and the
Speaking of which,
circus
it's very
jumping in, anything else there to discuss? Fleabite?
It's Fleabite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I kind of know where Fleabite stands on this. Ish.
Ish. And probably not. Fleabite has a stance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's good.
Do you want to share with the class?
Yeah,
No.
I know it. I think Fleabite would keep it very close to his chest. Alexander thinks that's probably not a good way of experience for a game. So Fleabite probably does lean towards not destroying.
Okay. I thought that he would, but I could also see Fleabite, based on his natural inclination, sort of either destroy or weaponize it, you know?
I'll be honest, the biggest thing for Fleabite, and I'll try and find a way to make it more relevant, is that a supernatural creature appeared, helped in one fight, and said the words, "The egg must not be destroyed," and then left. So that left a bit of an impression.
Fair.
I don't remember that at all. What are you talking about?
Damien Green.
Again. Don't remember that at all. What are you talking about? Yeah, no, I got you. I got exactly what you meant.
That's fair.
Nice
yeah.
that he was mentioned twice though.
And I just think that felt like it should have been an omen, and I think that makes it. That's why I kind of loved the fact that he was there, and then he just wasn't.
Yeah, like it was like there for 3 sessions. Most of that was a combat in which someone died in, and then he was like, "It really cannot be destroyed. Please, okay, bye now. My people need me, I guess." And off he travelled. So yeah. He had such a cool backstory. He was such a coolly developed character. Just to be like, "Hello, I am a courier. Goodbye." Yep, it's great.
I like to think that he's off in his own little arc.
He is 100% off adventuring away, dealing with whatever his plot requires.
Protagonist of a game written by, I don't know, Stephen, maybe. Not quite, to be fair.
The actual case is he went off to GM other games, so that's what he actually went to do, which was cool.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. It's nice when the hobby sparks like that level of like, I guess, what's the self-perpetuation? Yeah. Right. So, that kind of does sound like everyone's on the same page, so I can't wait for that to come up in a conversation in a game at some point. Ideally. So
That's
that's
conversation next week.
Yep. So how do you all feel about what Cynthia said that time? Yep. As she's standing there, you know, like, shame they all have to die. Okay. Deliver the potential to a Lorien. I feel like we've all agreed that isn't happening.
Yeah.
So, do you want to move it to the side, or is it deleting it? Because there is the return journey, and if those gliders and or zip line isn't up there, then there's the return journey.
Some sort of tail.
Well, do we have any way of delivering the potential, because it had to go on that medallion, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. And that went away with Thoden.
So I think it's a delete.
Yep, cool. So I want to delete that. And then I assume the next one.
Yeah.
And then how do we feel about the next one? Because you do still have it.
We shall see.
So you're happy to keep it, is what I'm taking from that. Eltris,
Yeah.
Fleabite, Caldrath, how do you feel about your stag as Cynthia intended?
I'm happy to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Hey,
As
cool.
long
I
as
thought we
it
were going to have
continues
to.
to be my
I thought we were
pet.
going to have to use it there, but yeah, it's,
Mm.
something might still crop up.
I think it's just gonna be like every time we have to use it, we just don't, and she gets increasingly more frustrated and impressed that we have not used it yet.
How have you not died yet? When I ran this level, I died 7 times. Yeah. Oh, just an angry gamer. Okay. Fleabite.
Yes,
Obtain cold weather gear from mountain fauna.
I would say that was successful.
Yeah. I would too. Look at
Uh,
that. The weirdest trading ever done. Okay. Eltris, are you still gonna look for a suitable gift for Alori?
I mean, I think maybe like I don't know, because obviously there is a return journey unless our GM is kind enough and just
Hey, don't
so
you put that
amazing
on me.
that it does give us gliders and zip lines back down. But you mean there is going to be that return journey?
Is
so
this
I'm
when those
thinking
giant
maybe
bats are at the top and there were a taxi service down?
that makes sense.
That's
So I don't honestly, I don't know. But I'm kind of on the verge of like just kind of betting it maybe, because I also kind of feel like her deal with the Lorien is kind of done. You know what I mean?
I mean, your
But
deal was different from,
Yeah.
but that's
But I
on
mean,
you
like,
if you want to walk away from that, because remember Keldrath did say that Cynthia did say that you seem to still be owed, you still seem to be indebted, I guess, to him.
I'm going to keep it the now, just in the off chance that we do go
Depends
back to
though. Depends.
Lorien.
Do you have a better idea?
Not at the moment.
Because
so
are you likely to go, "Oh, he'll love this rock," and run all the way back down?
I think there's a good chance that that could happen, knowing me. But I'd
No,
like
you'd
to
send
think.
Fleabite, right? Because he's the fastest.
Yeah, yeah. He can make the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
The problem is though, when he
Um,
got there, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, Elf Thing said, get gift," and he's already pocketed it because it's his rock now.
Imagine.
Oh, I don't even have to. I could just see it happen.
So
Session
I think
75. There you go. There's my prediction. It'll happen by then. No. So, my main thing is, if you think there's going to be something that's more likely to come up, you may as well focus on that, because that means
Yeah.
XP.
I think there will be, but I don't know what that'll be.
And you
yet.
actively chose to avoid a big combat with a Storm Father Man, so you just might want to complete goals to get XP. Just
Yeah.
in general, I guess. So what is now important to Eltris, I guess? Because I feel like you're going to shelf that one, honestly. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
I think
don't,
I'm
I don't
gonna
see you
shelf
running like, how many days back is it now? It's like 9 days back at least,
Yeah,
and you
something
have
like that.
no way to get through the stone as far as you know without Thorin.
Well, I'm gonna. Oh, that's a good point. I forgot about that as well.
Yeah,
I'm putting it in the ideas pile. Okay.
that's why it's there. Yeah. Mhm.
And I'm going to just take that out. But I can't think of what would be
It's okay.
something.
We'll
soon.
let people think about that. Vanger, I'm going to assume you're keeping yours.
Yes.
Perfect. Keldrath, how do you feel about your goal now?
I think we're getting closer, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. I can't think of anything else between here
Nothing more immediate
and
now?
Barris. And sorry,
Nothing more immediate, like race Fleabite?
you wouldn't give us that though.
I mean,
Or-
if you made it difficult enough, right? I'll give you it. But it needs to involve like something that actually involved challenge, and not just, I guess we did this for like a couple of hours. Yeah.
Time trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think now I'm just going to keep it. I think we're getting.
Yeah.
Barris is getting mentioned more and more. Cynthia's turning up, so she must be leading us somewhere, or warning us of something. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave that. Although, from our discussion, if everybody decides that we're going to try and we're not going to destroy the egg, then this is redundant. It depends who I'm protecting the egg against. That's the next challenge.
Well, it's so agreeing to protect it and actually achieving that are separate
Yeah.
goals. So don't worry about that. That isn't. I wouldn't say that's redundant, because you could all say, "I think we'll all save it," and then like, I don't know, an egg giant crushes it in front of you. And you go, "Oh well, that was, at least we all agreed though."
Or
Yeah.
Von Run
Mm.
has predicted that we would not follow through, and then just appears next to us, and decides to destroy it, for instance. Like that.
Or like that plot.
Exactly.
Scores out of Notebook. So yeah. But keep in mind though, like Vanguard, like Vonrun has not came near this mountain.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But he does have an airship.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like manned by like automatic.
He is
men.
totally using us to like break the 5 seals or whatever, isn't he? Let's be honest.
But he's using you to run the boss level so he can write down all the tricks that you're learning. Yeah. But then, what's Cynthia up to? Right? But anyway, that seems like a wrap-up chatty time. So, we have a lot of blank goals here. So, what are our new general goals? What's going on? What's next? So you've passed the stormy level, you now seem to be in the lava level.
How about... this might be a shit goal, but I'm going to fire away.
Why not?
Maybe
It's a good idea that might propagate other ideas. Yep.
How about try and get through this without any needless murder?
That'll need a bunch of qualifiers, but I like the angle.
Yeah. But okay, make it through this area, this lava area, without the hinted at slaughter taking place.
So prove Cynthia wrong that no killing was needed. Or
assume this is another reason it might be a bad goal, assuming that's even what she actually means.
Okay.
Yes, who says it's going to be us that's killing? Who's...
Yeah, it might just be their deaths are inevitable.
Okay.
But I am assuming that's what she means. Like,
so a better goal then would be, right? Stop the death Cynthia is predicting. That is a goal. Does that make sense? Because that doesn't actually assume anything.
Yeah. Let me...
And it means you don't have to then think it's them and then it's not them and it was like, I don't know, the toads that they protect or something. Yeah. Let's pop that in. Who's doing the rounds?
Which leaves us with 1 slot.
Yeah. I think that's a quite good one, right? If everybody agrees that that's a good one. I think it is.
I mean, others may differ, but I'm just putting it there for now.
I think it makes sense.
Again, part of that will come from the conversation we have with Cynthia next week.
Yeah, and it could turn out to be not as good a goal as it initially seems, and we could just chuck it. That's completely something that I accept.
Yep. And if you're all agreed to have at least a conversation about the dragon egg next week, at least you're getting a goal.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find what stag-shaped like keylock this head goes into. You should keep saying it. So, okay.
Now, from the conversation we had with the fire giant, which we didn't catch the name of, with another goal, we've got reach the city of Barris, but from what he was saying, gaining access to Barris.
That is kind of the reach the city of Barris goal.
Yeah,
really.
that's true.
Like, it's
I mean, to be fair, getting to the city of Barris in the first place is a fucking achievement.
Yes, it actually is an achievement. Yes. It's quite a global achievement.
It's actually worth like
ultra rare, yeah.
Points,
Ultra rare, yep. But yeah. I can guarantee it, if any alleged walls do exist, getting past them is the reaching it part. Just FYI. I hope I'm in a recording somewhere earlier in the game saying that, because I definitely feel like I have said that to you before. But it might have been a different group of players. It could have been long ago. That goal has been around for a wee while. Right, any other ideas, folks? Ultras, you're quiet.
I'm just thinking, if I'm honest with you.
You think louder?
The only thing that keeps going through my head is like, why did that guy call me a mascot? And I feel like I forgot about it after a while, and then I was like, oh yeah, he said that thing.
I mean, after a while, you mean after like the 24 seconds it took for that race to end with like a 400 feet round trip? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Like, I'll let our resident physicist work out the actual speed that Fleabite was moving at then, if it was 24 seconds for 400 feet. It's probably not bad. Isn't that right, Alexander?
I refuse to deal with imperial units.
Okay, rebel. So, yeah. Anything for this slot then? Find out what it means to be a mat. No, I'm kidding.
Learn the duties of the mascot.
Imagine it had a
That-
much more straightforward guide to it as well.
Comes with like a whole induction pamphlet and everything.
Do you get any
Um,
suggestions for Electricity and what you could have as a goal? And or the party, I guess, as well, generally speaking.
Hmm.
Remember, you do have that list of ideas as well.
I like
So-
this one. Destroy dragon egg for Rick there. Nah.
Yep. Ricky Von Rin. Like Ricky Von Rin. Yeah. It feels a lot less plagiarized when I say it that way.
Ricky Von Rune. He also
Yeah.
sounds like a sort of like
EastEnders
indie
character
wrestler.
or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I went to my frame of reference.
Yeah. I did not go to mine. I just went to a frame of reference people may understand. Popular in the early 90s. Let's see.
16.67 feet a second.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Fast rat. Right, so if you're gonna try and stop the deaths Cynthia predicted, why don't you try and, I don't know, this interaction with this fire giant? Do you want to try and capitalize on that in some fashion?
Yes.
Right.
Then.
So you don't need to, but at least was something that like sought you guys out at least, as you seem to bump into each other. And it also seems to have a lot of stuff that he was like, who are you in league with? Which implied a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, there was some.
Some grander thing to be on edge about.
Yeah.
Which may or may not tie into Cynthia's. Mhm.
Yeah, I have a strange suspicion it's probably Cynthia.
I think Cynthia was standing behind us that whole time, and he was talking away about Cynthia because like she was right there, and none of us actually turned around and looked at her, and was like, "Oh shit, Cynthia's there."
She was the one that actually dropped the scarf in between the two racers. Yeah.
Yeah.
She can go, finally, my purpose fulfilled.
She crossed off one of her goals tonight.
Just her unfinished ghostly business or some bullshit like that, yeah. Because this is now Casper, their friendly ghost. Yeah, so what about that? That's at least something you could fill in for now if you don't have any ideas. You know?
Excuse me.
No? Nobody interested in that? That's fine. You don't need to be.
Yeah, sorry. No.
Yeah, just no feedback from anybody else. No other players.
I wasn't sure how we would actually.
Okay, so what about it would you like to resolve?
Well, I'd like to find out who he was referring to and who she was referring to.
Okay. How are you going to do that?
Maybe something like establish who the giant was concerned about.
Okay.
Yeah, but that only.
see
But
how-
then they are kind of two separate questions.
Realistically, that's like a conversation, and what you really want to do is befriend Giant to facilitate that being a thing you can have with them, right? Or like earn trust of, or something. Do you see something quantifiable I can deal with?
Yeah, sure.
And then that means you could have that conversation that would complete that goal in turn. So that could be something. And Fleabite did fist bump him.
Yeah.
Have we not kind of missed something here as well by not doing the Valorian's message? Because we kind of glanced over the fact that last scene of last week's message was that if they don't go and fight the, why do I forget the Storm
The Storm Father. Yeah.
Father?
We don't
It's-
know
That
that.
they
though.
were. Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah, I know. It's because it was a cutscene. Yeah.
That's
Right. So I
yeah.
mean, if that is the fact, maybe that's something we'll find out as a result of this, and then that'll tie back together.
The good thing is, because you don't know about it, you don't in character need to worry about it. But as players, I understand why that would rattle around your head. The good thing is, it seems like that's their problem now.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
But is it, from what Cynthia's saying here, is this a threat to all giants on
And
this mountain?
That sounds like a giant's problem.
Well, as we've
That's
established,
just
it's not
people don't know.
Fleabite's problem, given how fast he is. Might be your guy's problem. But we now know that if you all go in the bag of holding, if he tips out some of the contents to fit you all in it, you all get like X amount of seconds of breathing each, which is decent because he doesn't need that long to move far away. Pretty good.
Probably take us longer to get in the bag.
Probably,
Yeah.
which is amazing when you think about it. Ridiculous D&D characters after a while. It's very easy, a good level, right? So it's like you should be ridiculous at this scale. Considering a normal, common person in this world has 3 health. Yep. So yeah, how do you want to like proceed with that? The angle on the giant. You don't need to if you've got another angle. You can do so.
I think it depends on what Cynthia says. If what Cynthia says indicates to us like she expects us to go massacre them, then I think that's quite different than if we find out that it's actually the Storm Father.
Okay. I assume it isn't that difficult then for Cynthia to justify Vanguard getting on board with it if they were, say, all evil, for example.
I mean, they haven't seemed very evil.
He was quite pleasant, I thought.
Yeah. And they mostly seem to keep to themselves. So how evil can they be? But I mean, maybe there's something utterly depraved behind the scenes that Vanguard just hasn't seen. Whatever.
Yeah. And Cynthia has been decent in the past for stuff like that, like with the cult potentially. Sorry,
Yeah, I
the
think
Watchers.
the cult were pretty on their face evil, but Vanguard didn't really want to prejudge. But he did keep on saying about all the blood.
And the big blood monster vomiting blood over Fleabite.
It did seem very evil, but
Yeah.
who knows? Blood is good, Also, you need blood, right?
Blood is life, life is victory. Yep.
So,
So, okay.
That's kept in the veins.
How does Fleabite feel about the giant in terms of goal related?
Yeah, I can't. I'm struggling to think of because I feel like it was a bit strained, but it ended neutral, leaning towards positive.
It was my favourite parts when Fleabite said, "Oh, I'm alone." And he's like, "You're not alone. I see them clearly." That was fun. Why don't you go follow him back to maybe his people if there are any more than just him, and then get them all high on Cynthia's tea. I don't know why.
Maybe they have a tea. Maybe they have some sort of beverage. And that's as far as I'll say about that.
Okay. How do we feel about the jangle? It sounds like nobody's that convinced to pursue that.
I am not certain.
And I know, obviously, because it makes sense that you want to hear what Cynthia's views are on that going forward. Does anyone else have anything else to do goal-wise, including personal goals? Because I'm about to just move on.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think.
I mean, 4 goals is a pretty decent amount. We can fill one in later if something comes up.
Oh, there's 5 slotted.
Are there?
Is there not? Oh, in fact, no, there's 6 slotted.
I
Is there
see
not?
4.
Yeah, but you.
Oh well, 2 personal goals. Yeah. Sorry.
The reason I said 5, I think, is because I don't count yours because I know it's technically not going to happen anytime soon, right?
It's a while off, but
Mm.
unless I come out with something really immediate that's very
Yeah,
banger
no.
specific.
It's just kind of a similar boat to like Protect Dragon Egg, right? Kind of, there is a qualifier of when you've failed that goal.
Yeah.
But they do work for placeholders until you've got more immediate ones, yeah. And to get
I
any.
definitely think it's a worthwhile goal as well.
Yeah, you pull it off. Much like the Reach the City of Barris goal. Worthwhile. So, Fleabite? Ideas? Going once.
I I was no. I think I'll have to think about it through the week.
Okay. Eltris?
I feel like I'm on
prove that
this.
you're sorry.
If I'm honest.
Prove that you're the fastest rat in the mountain.
I think he was trying to do that back when he was trying to do his vermin control job.
He probably already has.
Yeah, I don't think my NPC rats can move that fast, I'm afraid. I found stats for a giant rat, but it's still nowhere near as big as Fleabite. But yeah, Eltris, what were you saying, sorry?
I was just going to say that I feel like I'm on the same boat. I genuinely can't think of anything at the moment. I always find it quite hard to come up with goals, to be honest.
The trick is to work out what you'd like your character to achieve, and then word it into a goal.
Yeah. Thing is, I can't think of anything immediate, you know what I mean? Because I feel like because everything that's kind of happened with him has been so big recently, you know what I mean? Obviously, with the free and all that, and the becoming a guardian and stuff, so it's like, what's left? Like, what's now for him, you know what I mean? And I can't even think
What do you
of
think's next for him?
I don't know. Apart from getting to the egg and taking the dragon in as his pet, but that's a while off, you know?
But I mean more personally though. What's next for Eltris?
That's him adopting a new dragon pet.
Nope, that's an external thing. I mean specifically with Eltris and everything that's went on with him. Like, it seems like you've now got a handle on this, wooden armor thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that it? Is that the extent of how you're going to explore what it means to be the Guardian? Or is there more of that to learn?
I don't know. There could be more, obviously, you know?
Or do you think that was like the limits of what like Thickean and the Emerald Witch could do? Like, yeah, we got this one power. Nifty.
We can turn to wood. Welcome to the forest.
It would explain a lot how they were hard to see, right?
Yeah, because they were just trees.
Antlers would make good branches, right?
I never thought of it, if I'm honest with you. I generally just thought that, I'd get the bark skin and I'd go on my merry little way. So that, I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
You don't need to know. It's just trying to be thought-provoking here, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's okay. Last call for goals. Nothing?
No.
Okie dokie.
I've got nothing to change.
That's okay. Perfect. That works for me. That means you've got 1 goal. What level are you currently?
8, I think.
Okay. Which means you get 800 XP.
Yay.
So what is your new total?
200 XP.
4, 5,
5, 5, 0.
Say that again. 4, 5.
45,500.
Okay. When does level 9 hit?
48.
Ooh. It's not far off. Big exciting. Excellent. I don't think level 9's super exciting though in terms of goals, like in terms of like levels. It might be for like Vanguard's multiclassed, but it's not necessarily. I don't think 9's a super duper level. Like 8 and like
Yeah, I don't
10.
think it's a huge one.
Again though, because you're leveling up classes differently, I don't know where you fall again. So whatever one you bump up might be more interesting as a level to hit within it. Beyond that though, wrap up chat time. Why don't you start us off, Eltris?
Hello.
Hello.
So, yeah, that was quite fun. I feel obviously we're a bit late in starting, and I feel like this session it was. I don't want to say like an easy one, but you know, like it felt like a kind of more laid back one. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that was quite nice. It was just like a kind of I don't know, just there was just a nice flow to it and stuff, you know. And it seemed pretty chill, and I enjoyed that. Although I think there was twice that Cynthia showed up tonight, and not one of those times was Cynthia Sarah. So the 5-star rating does come down to 4.5, unfortunately.
Okay. We did speak about Sarah though, so is that not even good enough?
So it's like a 4 3/4, maybe.
Okay. I'll take it.
So yeah.
My rating system rounds up automatically, so I'll take it.
Okay, so does mine. It's 5 stars. Okay, it's 5 stars.
Excellent.
I think apart from that, I don't like the way the guy called me a mascot.
Luckily, unless Vanger translates it, it'll be fine.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it. I was like, oh wait, Elvis wouldn't even know.
Yeah, I don't think I do.
I like the idea that the word mascot is just universal.
What I was kind of thinking about was at that point and stuff, and I was thinking about it in my head, and I was like, oh, like it's because I look like a fucking tree, ain't it? But then I was like, oh no, because like technically I'd done that 6 days ago, and I'd never actually put it on that morning.
Depends. So I don't know. What is it going to be? Your morning ritual? Like how does that work?
Well, I think it's just a thing that Eltris would probably automatically do. You know what I mean? So yeah, like. So I highly believe that he was in tree form, but if he wasn't, if it's canonically, because obviously it's the first time we've properly dealt with it and stuff, if he wasn't, then he wasn't, and I'm fine with that, because it would also make sense for the guy to be like, why the
I don't mind if you
would
you let's just decide now, were you in tree form or not? I have no issue with way.
What's that?
I have no issue either way, because it doesn't change what I would have said as that character, so
I would have said he was in tree form, yeah.
Yeah,
because I think the other thing is obviously you did call him a fire giant, right? And in my head I was like, oh, maybe it's a good thing I didn't put it on, you know what I mean? Because like, let's be honest, wood and fire doesn't go well. But I also feel like as a player I know that. But
it gets on like a house on fire. What are you talking about?
Exactly. But yeah, I feel like, you know, I mean, Eltris doesn't know that, and I don't think he's going to die or anything, but I think he'll need to learn that by himself, you know, that fire is a no-no. But apart from that, like it's good. It's nice to have Thakian back where he belongs, as my pet. That I also believe that on these journeys I've just been constantly petting him in the head, and telling me he's a good boy. And I can't wait for a baby dragon to join him as my pet. Yeah. But apart from that, good session. Really enjoyed it.
You're just hoping a lot of that was just going to sink into my brain if you just kept repeating it, yeah. I just, you know, pet dragon, fine, pet dragon.
I'm hoping if I say it enough, like, also the party's going to be fine with me taking it as a pet.
I do like that. I feel like Alexander is one of the few, maybe also like Vanguard, like fully embracing the we are making Ricky our enemy, the more we're conclusive about our decisions going forward. Which is fine.
I don't have anything against the guy, but you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's our enemy because Eltris was going to have a pet dragon soon, so you know it'll be fine.
Yeah.
About that.
It'll be fine. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anything else, bud?
No, just thanks for having me and thanks for running.
No,
appreciate it.
You're more than welcome, bud. And Fleabite.
So Fleabite was 17.5 feet per second, which is 5.3 meters per second.
Okay.
Meters?
Yes. And bolt.
It means absolutely nothing to you. I'm sorry. That was for Ryan.
That's it'll never die. Heroes never die.
Just as a reference, Usain Bolt did run at 10.4 meters per second.
Yeah.
So Fleabite's insanity is only half of Usain Bolt.
Yeah. What was his top like distance though? Did he do like quite long? Did he do like 800 meters and stuff, or did?
No, he was doing 100.
No, 100 meters.
Okay.
Pussy. If it were over 200, that'd matter. No, I'm sorry.
No, because it's
That's stupid.
because 100 meters is what 300 feet, give or take a lot of excess.
Yeah.
So it is maybe like roughly even with Fleabite, roughly in terms of like he's probably double your speed at the moment. That's not bad. It's pretty recent. It's pretty acceptable if you ask me. Your speed.
I also couldn't find the gift I wanted, but that's from the moment before. There's a great gif of Master Snitch like properly leaping through the air, which is what I was imagining for the long jump at the end.
I have both of his minis in this room with me right now. I can only see one of them though.
They're plotting. So yeah, no, it was good. It was a really good role as well. That 23 athletics to just like go, yep, Fleabite's actually pretty damn good at this.
Yeah, and I wasn't that worried. So as I say, like my athletics isn't that bad, and I have proficiency. So if it'd gone wrong, I'd have a little bit of backup for using.
There wasn't really much that could have went too wrong in that particular like area, so I wouldn't like.
But it felt like there was.
Yeah, and that was important.
I did consider making it trying to put a wager on it, but then I kind of wanted it also.
I have to admit, I was like, how is he going to try and wing gambling with this guy? And like, what is he even going to... Is he end up going to like gambling for someone's life? Like, how does this... Yeah, I didn't know how it was going to work.
I kind of felt that we were. That if it had been like a serious race and he'd just like easily... or if Fleabite had massively upset him, that could have been a life hanging in the balance, but as it was, it's alright.
Yeah, it was good. It was a funny interaction.
Yeah, and we'll see. I kind of... I think because they also have not miles away from Fleabite's like, speech pattern, I do hope that they don't all just get like super murdered, but yeah.
I mean, he seems reasonably capable and fairly armoured compared to the previous guys that were all relatively shirtless based on the lack of diverse artwork. Right? So, seems like they've at least understood metalwork, if nothing else. So we've moved from the Stone Age to the Iron Age, at least. Anything else?
And I guess, always just concerned. Cynthia's showing up.
I don't know what you mean.
I'm sure that'll be fine.
They call her straight shooter Cynthia? What you talking about?
I did like that she did have that moment of like, I know he said, I can't be as straightforward as you're looking for or something.
Yeah, she was like, I know you're trying to see if I'm going to be trustworthy, but it's not really, it doesn't really matter, ultimately. Yeah.
I just really hope Fleabite is there when someone uses common to call Eltress the mascot. Because Fleabite will never forget that.
Yeah. I mean, this guy just like clearly defines you as like you're clearly just a rat. That's what you are to him, because that's what you look like on the the shoulders of a a dragonborn. Whether or not he understands what a dragonborn is, we don't know yet. But that's at least as much as we got. And he seemed convinced that like, oh, is this why you travel with a mascot? And obviously referred to Eltress, and made sure that Eltress wasn't apparently an elf. That's not an elf. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see next time.
Or not. Maybe we'll never see that guy ever again. Keldrath.
I think from tonight, I think we need to roll worse when we're traveling.
Mm.
We seem to go a lot of distances and nothing ever happens. So.
Well, I mean, like, the mountain's big, and it's not like
Yeah.
there are people
Highly
everywhere.
populated.
Yeah, like, I was quite glad that you rolled quite high on that last one, because it meant I could just skip a zone entirely. Because I'm like, wet and dank is kind of really dull to RP, to be honest. It's kind of nice to, like, move into the volcanic-y bit. So I was like, quite like that now. I'd rather do this bit, to be honest. And it should maybe slightly explain why the further down the mountain's quite nice and verdant. If there's a decent bit of volcanic activity wrapped around it too. So yeah.
Indeed. And my first proper interaction with Sylvia, obviously, was
Well, one-on-one with Cynthia, if nothing else.
Yeah. exactly.
Definitely shown interest.
Lots of lack of trust going on in my head with everything. All the it's all a mystery, and I'm still learning and still investigating. And
It's a good convo though. Like, I don't think MD could have, like, I think that was a fairly well held together conversation for someone, like, again, so new to the hobby. I thought it was pretty great. Like,
Cheers.
it's not something that comes easily to some people. It can be quite nerve wracking, isn't that right, Tom? Just to call you out straight away.
Yep.
I'm kidding, obviously.
Yep.
I'm joking. But it is though. It's a nerve wracking thing. And at this nice stage where it doesn't quite make me nervous anymore, but it used to quite a lot. I used to have to, like, psych myself up to run games and stuff. Never mind be in them. As you sit shyly, you know. Again, like my first RP run one, I am merely a weapon on a piece of paper. There is no personality to this character at all. So, yeah, it was good. And as I said, to kind of, like, tete-a-tete, as it were, with Cynthia, it was, yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And nobody died because of it.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Still early.
Nobody impersonated anyone's dead mother either, which was great. That is
Yeah.
apparently a benchmark we work from.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, you say dead, but she's literally been in this session talking.
At least twice.
Yep.
I mean, it's D&D. It's not like
There's dead and there's dead.
yeah. It's like there's dead and there's D&D dead. Yeah. Anything else, Kildreth?
No, that's really about it tonight.
No, good.
It's been entertaining. It's just yeah.
I'm very eager to see what you do in this next arc. Hopefully, when more of it reveals itself, I'll be interested. I've at least set some of it on fire for you already, which is, to try and make it a bit easier. So we'll see how that goes. Vanger.
Hello. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was quite tense. It was nice though. Like we had another interaction with the giant. We managed in this case. I think like these guys did seem a little bit dimmer than the giants, the sort of stone giants. This guy did seem like he was moderately intelligent, but maybe not quite at a human level. Stone giants seemed pretty close to human intelligence. So once we could interact with them, it was pretty easy. But this guy was a little bit more of a challenge. So there was like that aspect of, is he going to misunderstand something or take offense? Is he just going to fancy a fight? But as it happened, we were sort of able to talk him down. I like being able to do that. I like a fight. I do like getting to flex my character's muscles a little bit, but I also like, when we're able to, as I feel like we often should, avoid them. And yeah, it was nice that we kept a little bit of tension there anyway, and then resolved it. So
yeah, I thought
there
it was
a
good.
sense of payoff.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. It was a nice moment for Fleabite. I realized it was a little bit lighter, maybe for Eldris this session, and Keldrath also to a lesser extent, because you did get a really cool little chat with Cynthia. So I think we were in a slightly awkward pace tonight. I think was part of the problem, because obviously we had to spend some time first figuring out where exactly.
Yeah, like adjusting our narrative. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it worked out quite naturally and quite sort of what's the word I'm using? There's definitely a sense of momentum. Like we're going forward. We're sort of building on successes.
You've done really well with your your actual travel time has been really well.
We have a few people in the party even now who are pretty good at the whole traveling thing. Happily.
Yeah. No, it's definitely picked up enough skills for your time with your Sherpa that you have like sussed out.
And I think, narratively speaking, he's someone who had experience in taking people up the mountain, but he hadn't made it to Barris before, right?
Yeah, and it was not so much this mountain, just mountains.
Yeah. There was always going to be a limit to how much he could actually give us over any other guide.
Yep.
So,
arguably, he got you further than the other guide would have, arguably, as well.
Yeah. There was kind of an element of, I can take you this far. And so that felt quite a natural stopping off point as well. So
yeah, definitely the narrative moment was good for him to step away and deal with his village.
I know you've had bad luck with a few people in this game, and you've had various things where people have ended up stepping away, and it hasn't always come out in a sort of opportune moment. Happily, this one worked out reasonably well. And that isn't always going to be the case, and that was really good. So obviously, sorry to see the back of you, Chris Jr., but good timing. So yeah, I think that was nice. It was a nice little bit of momentum, nice little tease for what's coming up next, and I always enjoy getting to be the sort of voice of reason. I think on the whole we're a pretty reasonable party. Like even Fleabite, who hyper competitive, a bit sneaky and a bit malicious, but has a sense of self-preservation. Is not just chaotic evil murder hobo. I do have a sort of twinge of, oh god, I really want to play just like the most awful arsehole at some point. Because like even my edgy boy over in Starfinder is ultimately a reasonable, normalish guy. I often like playing the straight man to a party full of weirdos. I keep on making characters on the surface seem like they'd be the nut, and then they just aren't. I need to invest in like making a properly mental character at some point so that I can get to be the problem that other people have to work around.
Do you want to be Philippa Georgiou in my Star Trek game? Is that what you want to be? No?
I mean...
like the most out of place character template in a ship of like... Yeah, anyway. Please carry on.
Yeah, Star Trek aside, I have evil character ideas that I'd like to play. Or even just not evil, but problematic. People who, aren't necessarily going to cause constant problems, but once in a while their personality is going to be an issue the party needs to deal with. Because I think that's fine. I think that makes parties more interesting, provided
it's
you're not like someone who's going to upend every session or something like that.
I think it's done with moderation, so long as the party accepts it, it's fine. In a game like this, where we have had to change the roster like almost fully, it's not something that everybody would have signed on to. So like by this point, the idea that obviously we had like 3 new people coming after you, Colin, they might not want that, which would be tricky to navigate.
Yeah.
If I've already okayed you, right? And it's like, well, these 3 people don't
definitely.
want that.
Like, if especially when you have like, we've been lucky in Monday. We've still got our Callum for now. We've basically got pretty close to the whole roster, right? We lost a person, but fortunately we lost
stayed
her
consistent
fairly
since. We've stayed consistent for a while.
So it's been for the most of the run, right up until we're coming to the end, and unfortunately it's not going to work out with Callum, possibly for some of the last sessions, although who knows, we'll see. We've been very fortunate, but not every game is going to work that way, and you kind of have to adjust to the game as is, and I don't know. So but I think we've been pretty fortunate with like things like Fleabite could cause more problems than he does given his personality. And
but it was, as I said, it was the first convo I had for this game was with Alexander. He was the first character made for the game, and it was very good to settle in and state a lot about what is acceptable and not acceptable behaviour for a player.
It's definitely like it 100% feels like it could be a lot more disrupted than it is. So,
it is
credit to Alex there.
It doesn't take a lot in the Google search to work out the horror stories that involve D&D and Skaven players. It does not. So I'll leave people to go enjoy those stories.
I'm not surprised. Like if you choose to play like a member of a species who are just absolutely all evil, in a setting where that's not a normal thing, right? Like orcs are all violent, but they're not actually evil. But Skaven are just all monsters.
Yeah. So it was definitely some key understandings that we had to share when we made that character together, and I think it's
That's a
worked
great
out
look
quite well.
actress.
Anything else to add there, Vanker, about this
No,
game
I
specifically?
think I've rambled.
Yep,
Sorry,
it's okay.
I don't want to call on it too hard, so I will relinquish the floor.
No worries at all. Thank you all for playing. That was fun. Thank you for the admin time we had off camera as well. It does make the game feel like it's still moving forward, which is good. And yeah, I guess thank you everybody who watched. And without much else to say,
Running.
yeah, you're welcome. And say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.